pissed me off.
Vanilla Sky?
Am I thinking? No, I'm thinking of not Vanilla Sky, Magnolia or something.
Yeah. Oh,
My
with the
bad.
frogs?
My bad. I'm thinking. Yes.
Yeah, that was annoying.
That pissed me
And
off.
it was like a really good movie till then.
It was awesome, and then it just ended pointlessly with him singing, and I was like, "This is fucking pissing me off."
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me, dude. I'm happy to be here.
Dude, it's funny. The first time I ever saw you, I was a pup in comedy. I was a young pup, and my friend Chris O'Connor was like, "Dude, Sam Morrill's going." It was in Philly. You were doing some show. I forget where it was. We just watched, and we're like, when you just start, and you see a guy who like actually can do it, and you're just like, "Oh fuck, dude."
Where was it?
It's in Philly. I forget some theater. It was like not a theater. It was like a theater, but it wasn't like a. It was like a
Black box type thing.
Yes.
I did a lot of those in Philly because they were easy. Easy to get to. Train is like 90 minutes. People don't know. It's like right there. But
yeah, I
loved it.
I was a young comedy pub, and we were going, "Whoa, dude, that's so fucking cool, dude." He has a whole fucking hour. This is crazy. All in 5 minutes, we're like, "Oh, dude, that's so fucking cool."
Oh, and then like if I look back at that hour, I'd be like, "Oh, I fucking suck." That's how it works. You feel good about it for a minute, and then But then I don't like my new stuff either. It's like
yeah.
It's tough. Like, how do you feel about your stuff?
I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like the hour I'm doing now, I'll be like, this is great. And then there's like chunks of it where I'm like, this fucking sucks. I need to cut this all out. But I get to the point where I just want to be done with it. I'm like, all right, it is what it is. I want to like release this and just go on to coming up with something else.
I know it's amazing how quickly it's like just a new relationship. And like at first you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then a few months in, you're like, what am I doing?
I know what the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, I'll laugh. I'll not even laugh. I'll be like, there's like certain things I'll say from it in my head. I'm like, you fucking loser. And I'm like, all right, come on, man. Come on, let's get through the hour, brother. Let's get through the hour.
There's always that one chunk where you're like, fuck, why am I still doing? But you're doing it because you believe. You're like, it'll get better.
Yeah.
But you got to do it enough that you hate it, and then you're like, all right, I'll write new stuff.
It's time. Yeah, it's time to chop this loose. I'm excited. I'm gonna try to do a special, I don't know, at some point, and then in the spring maybe, and then just.
You're like one of the few successful YouTube specials of recent.
Thank you. Yeah,
I feel like there's not that had a moment, and then it was like it got oversaturated. And you, Ari, a few other people.
Dude, I was thinking for like maybe 40,000 views. So I was like, I'll probably get 40,000 on it, and then like I was like, I'll have to do a bunch of podcasts, promote it, and then like the first week I was like, oh sweet, I don't have to do anything. I'm just gonna sit back and chill.
I know. That is the dream, to be like no press.
Yeah, it's I thought I was gonna have to do it all, and whatever. But I always say people ask me, they'll like be like what should I do for like. Like my podcast, I'm like, dude, here's what you got to do. I was like, just get a co-host to become supremely famous. And I was like, that'll work for sure. That's what you do.
You got to be like an agent now. You're like, I think that guy's got the goods right there. Yeah.
True. But yeah, people, it's funny when they always get like really disheartened when I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man. I'm like, you just find someone who's super famous.
You're holding up your end though.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, it is, I don't know, man. It's just people get spun out, man. Entertainment's the only like job I've ever seen where people make like as much as a doctor, and they're like, I'm a fucking loser. And you're like, dude, you're killing it, man.
Yeah, but if you saw other doctors like performing an operation, you're like, that guy's getting more likes than me on his operation.
True.
You feel like there is that thing about like, and also like we do badly more than like a doctor's like. I'm sure they fuck up sometimes, but like I've had like 3 bombs in a row. If a doctor fucks up 3 times in a row, I'm like, you got to get out.
Just coming home, like I fucking bombed on that brain surgery. I was dead.
It was an easy one. They were good. He was good, and I blew it.
The other doctor went on, he crushed, and I came on and just killed the guy. True, that's a fair point. Yeah, they don't have to deal with the metrics.
I think just the comparing. We always compare, and like it's different than it used to be. Like back in the day, you'd be trying to get something on Comedy Central, and there'd be like one spot. You're like, this is the white dude spot. Mm-hmm. If I don't get this, I suck. And you're like, shit. Then I'm on a lineup with like Norman, Dan Soder, Phil Hanley, all these like killer New York comics,
Yeah.
Joe List. And, but now it's like, it's kind of wide open.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, it does. And it sucks too, because I will say in comedy, the product is your like personality. So people are like, yeah, not for me. You're like, fuck you, dude. It's not like you're just selling insurance. You're like, yeah, I don't really need that right now. It's like, yeah, I saw you. I'm good on you. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah, that's not my act. That's me. They said my name. That's when it would hurt when you're like, they don't just like dislike you, especially when you told you like, oh, I don't just dislike his act. I don't like him.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, it's a weird. I don't know. It is. It is funny. People like talking about like the internet comments. It's always kind of people are always like, but it is an interesting thing because you do have to deal with like the way you're. I don't know how to put it, but that's the way you're like your body has like cells. There's just like a million comments about you, and you can start getting into them, and it is. I don't know. I think it is funny. It's a fun thing to like. I used to get real whacked out. I'd read them like just like fuck this guy. Fuck who the fuck is this guy? Now I'm like, you never can tell because sometimes it'll be something that actually is accurate, and you're like, fuck, that's actually true, and that's painful to realize. Then it's like you get like you suck, I love you, and then you get like opposing views that you have to somehow just choose like which one do I actually believe?
I know,
It's
you're like, fuck, I am a dumbass with one eyebrow. He nailed it. Shit. Every once in a while, yeah. But, if you believe the good stuff, then you're crazy too.
I know, that's the problem. That's a problem, dude. I don't believe any of it. I just wait till I find something negative and I just feel the sting of that and I go, that's enough for today. And I just go about my day and I go, fuck.
You got to also, I know comics who are like, I remember a comic friend of mine got this like great write-up in the New York Times, and I called him like, dude, this is amazing. And he was just like, nah, this is like right before they turn on me. Like he couldn't enjoy it at all. He was like, nah, they're going to fucking, this is like, they'll call me great. So it's like people are going to fucking be like, this guy sucks.
Yeah, or they're going to dig out some skeleton from my past. That'd be, yeah.
I don't think this guy has any skeletons. I think he's like pretty well like this guy, but he just like, yeah, I don't know.
Damn, dude. I was, I did want to talk to you about this. So you know about the Diddy stuff, obviously.
Sure.
Everyone
I was
knows about
there.
that.
It was great.
He sucked my dick. It was awesome. So Diddy's now crying that it's unfair that the owner of Abercrombie is not getting as much. He's out on bail while Diddy is not out on bail. And he apparently, I didn't get enough time to look into it, like the details of it. But he was apparently running like a sex trafficking thing in the
you can tell by the stores, right?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
You just walked in there, you're like, this should not be okay, right? These poor damn employees.
Well, they used to have shirtless teenage boys outside of their store while running I think it was primarily a gay sex trafficking ring.
Yeah,
which is crazy, dude.
In the open base. I remember walking in there and being like uncomfortable and having to leave.
Yeah, dude. I remember I like high school girlfriends be like, let's go to Abercrombie. And I'd like walk past like a fucking hot dude with his shirt off. You'd be like, fuck you, dude. Walking, like, I'm not buying any of this shit. And it was like,
we were so mean to them, but like looking back, that dude was probably getting railed.
Yeah.
So we were in the wrong.
I thought they were getting a ton of pussy. Turns out, yeah, they were just like blowing old men.
They were the pussy.
They were the pussy. But yeah, it was crazy. That guy is apparently he was running a thing like Diddy. Where it's like all kinds of crazy manipulation and deception and sex trafficking and whatever.
But that's the way to do it if you're doing that, because you're like, well, this is so out in the open. You think I would just flaunt it if I were actually doing it?
True.
But then he was, because Diddy was more like, it was more like a VIP vibe. Like you only,
Yeah.
And, of course, someone with all these celebrities, you wouldn't be doing something like this. The word would get out.
Yeah, true.
But, I don't know how it works, if they had like NDAs or something there.
I think they just try to get dirt on you. I think that the deal is you try to get dirt on them first, and then you're like, I don't know, because I'd be so nervous. Imagine if you were running like a sex trafficking, like you were. Imagine if last night you just drugged.
I'm already stressed. I can't imagine. I'm already like, fuck. I feel like shit. I'm on the road. I can't imagine like that guilt level where you're just like, fuck. I have a sex trafficking ring.
You like, yeah, you GHB'd the guy opening for you. You fucked him, and then you fucked like 4 ladies, and you just woke up and you're like, all right, I gotta do a meeting for my fucking vodka. It's crazy.
Damn. Yeah. What's gonna happen to Ciroc?
I think someone else bought it. Yeah, I think someone.
Is it tainted though? Because I did think of Diddy when I think of it.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I would drink Ciroc and have a good time thinking about Diddy having fun times. But now I'm just like, ugh. But no, I think some people try to say that was the whole thing to get him off of the board because they were saying like there were like liquor billionaires who didn't want him. He wasn't like playing ball. It'd be like liquor Ticketmaster being like, you're not playing ball, and they're trying to claim
you're not playing ball. You have a sex trafficking ring. Back in the day in like Hollywood, they would have morality clauses in the contracts for like these young starlets. So they'd be like, a young actress would be like fucking a married guy, and they'd be like, nah, you gotta shut that down. We invested at you here at MGM or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really funny how. Back then it was like, infidelity's bad. Now it's like, don't fuck kids.
Yeah, don't please. Yeah,
it's
please.
It's changed.
That does ruin it. It does ruin a brand. The Catholic Church was the only institution that was like their adherents were like, come on.
It's a branding error.
Every big company has some bad guys.
Subway. It's lost some luster.
It has.
And they could have gone with that Clay Henry guy. Remember Clay Henry back in the day?
No, who was that?
He was the other one. It was like Jared and Clay Henry. They brought in like a 1B character.
Yeah.
Like he got real big on burgers and fries, but now he's down to a smaller size.
So they
Clay
brought
Henry.
another guy in.
Yeah, he was a fireman too. Like he could have made him look good.
Loved his wife.
He was probably a good guy. But then, they went Jared. And look, we can't deny Jared had an impact.
He had the sauce.
In the story of just walking and eating. He's like, I walked to Subway and I ate sandwiches and I lost. And you're like, that's not true, but we all bought it because we're idiots.
I know. Oh, when he pulls those pants out, you're like, who can argue with that? That guy's pants were so much bigger. He was just circling school zones. A shark, dude.
That's where he lost the weight. Just getting his cardio and going from one kindergarten to the other.
Did you see the documentary about him?
I haven't. Is it good?
It's amazing.
I gotta watch it.
It is, dude. He was way more sinister than you think. Like he apparently. So the reason that whole story broke, he went to a school assembly. He was going to assemblies in schools, and like at the height of his, prime or whatever. and he would talk to kids.
Like he's Barry Sanders in his prime.
But he was in a school auditorium. He was with a lady who like was like the local news lady. And they did like a little speech. He was like, kids, you got to eat healthy, blah, blah, blah. And she was doing her thing. And then they went and sat down. He goes, God damn it, I'd love to fuck one of these kids. Just to the lady. And she was like, what? What? This is all according to her. She was the one who broke the story. And then so she...
That was a heat check moment for him. He was like, man, I'm getting away with this for so long. Let me see. Because that's what they do. They like try. It's like serial killer shit where they're like, they'll go back to the scene of the crime. It's like that cockiness of getting away with it.
I mean, dude, yes, for sure. But it was like... It's such a weird thing to do because then I guess he was putting a feeler out for her because then this is where it's kind of suspect for her, but she was a journalist, so she was like, I want to kind of get, this is a huge story if this guy potentially really wants to fuck kids or if he's just like fucking around and is the funniest guy ever to like just step down and like, I don't want to fuck one of these kids. But then she started like pretending to be his girlfriend and they just drew all
get stuff out of him.
And I don't think she ever said she had sex with him, but she would be like, they would have like phone sex where she'd be like, what were you talking about? And he was like, think I want to fuck you, and he like admitted to doing it, and like his manager and him were fucking kid, like, and then like it all culminates, and she's having.
Okay, imagine finding you have that in common with your manager. That's such a weird. Because I was like, my agent's a Knicks fan, but like, I mean, you're like, you're into that? That's fucking great.
Yeah, it's a funny icebreaker to like see kids, like, man, they say the funniest things. You see the switch on that kid actually? Like, yeah, bro, I was actually gonna bring it up. You do really have to ease into that. Like, that's a good looking kid. Like, yeah, the kid's cute.
Yeah,
like,
if you were into that,
the kid's really cute. And you're like, I think that kid's really cute too. You just, eventually you're like, I'm so glad we met.
We should hang, yeah.
But dude, it all culminates in she has a birthday party for her own kids and uses them as bait.
Yeah.
And she's like, my kid's coming. I'm so into this. Oh my God. And he's like, I'm going to come fuck your kid at the birthday party. She's like, sweet, perfect. And she's working with.
So she has a kid.
Yes, I think she had like 2. And she was using him as bait. And she even went to the FBI.
He was using her for these kids. Worked both ways.
Sure, it was quid pro quo.
Yeah.
But she like went to the FBI, like, dude, I have this guy on tape saying he fucks kids. And they're like, that's illegal. You're not allowed to record him like that. And that's why they set up the birthday party. And she had like a wire on and everything. She's like, he was like basically wanted a kid, which is monstrous on the kid's birthday. To be like, I'm going to come to his birthday party after he opens his presents. And I'm going to smash. And it was like, damn, bro.
That is a bad birthday.
That is a bad birthday. That's a bad man. And then,
damn.
But yeah, eventually, like, he kind of gets cold feet, but then they get him anyway. He like cops to the crime. He like, dude, he was a monster, dude.
Crazy.
Yeah, he was that bad. He claimed it was because he lost so much weight that then his appetite for food just like transferred to kids. That was his claim. He was like, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
When you lose weight like I did, you become hypersexual. And he's like, I just wanted to start fucking kids. Like,
damn. So Subway really is bad.
Yeah, Subway.
I mean, you're like, yeah.
He should have been blaming it on the hoagies. I'm like, those are fucking hoagies, dude. I never wanted to fuck
that
kids.
bread, dude.
Bread fucked me.
That's not real bread. I knew Subway wasn't to be trusted when they claimed that was avocado, dude.
True.
That's not avocado.
Yeah, it made me want to fuck you. Yeah, but dude, he got I like explaining that documentary at like a fight. Like someone brought it up like jokingly, and I'm like, you know the real story. And I gave like, and they were like, people's wives were like, dude, please stop. I don't want to talk about this kid getting just battened down at his birthday party.
It is tough when you bring that to you. Got to know the audience for that.
I know. It was like a nice campfire setting. We're all like sitting around. People were having like sangria, and I'm like, he was gonna fuck a kid at his birthday party. And they were like, all right, that's enough of that. I was like, I'm sorry,
but it's tough because it's been pushed into the mainstream. Like it is a Netflix thing or HBO.
It was. Yeah.
And so it is tough when you're like, you're just hanging out at like a nice little party. You got a skewer in your hand. You're like John Benet Ramsey. You see that? It's crazy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it has been pushed in. Like the heinous murders they're like great. That stuff never ends. Heinous murder footage is like people love that.
It's endless. I mean, the CEO from fucking United Healthcare. You saw that yesterday.
Dude, what happened with that?
I mean, a guy with a silencer. Talk about bad branding. They got him in Starbucks right before.
What?
Yeah, they got him on camera in Starbucks ordering a coffee.
Yeah, true. What do you get?
I don't know. Definitely not tea.
Yeah, no.
Not a tea drinker. You need some caffeine to pull out an execution.
Yeah, it's like a caramel macchiato. Well, maybe a refresher. Maybe he got like a watermelon citrus refresher. Just carried out he went to Starbucks before he murdered him?
Yeah, that's run with that if you're Duncan.
True.
Run with that story. Like, we don't
sell shit to guys like that.
We don't like that. It's bad stuff.
That would be funny to just call it like murder juice. Like, yeah, get your murder. We don't sell murder.
Well, they
juice.
had the murder ball, remember? Or the medicine ball. I'm fucking it up. That was, by the way, we're such idiots. We're like, it's a secret menu thing. The medicine ball when you're sick.
What is
It's
that?
just sugar. It's just like probably awful for you when you're sick, but it's like tart enough that you're like, it's helping my throat.
Wait, Starbucks has a secret medicinal beverage?
Yeah, it's called the medicine. Is it in the medicine ball? They don't call it that anymore. What do they call it now? but it's just like lemonade and a shitload of honey, and it's probably just an insane amount of sugar, and you think it's helping because of all the honey, but it doesn't do shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go puke on a Starbucks counter and be like, I need the medicine ball.
It's yeah, that's you got to be pissed if you're Howard Schultz.
Bad for Starbucks. I mean, they had their scandal. I think like 3 years ago, they like kicked a black guy out of there.
Oof.
Yeah, Starbucks, the
Not
employee
good.
kicked the black. He didn't buy anything. He was having a business meeting. He's talking business, and they
But
kicked
they
it.
never kick anyone. It's such a,
I know, it was pretty nuts.
that feels personal.
It does feel personal.
I go in there all the time to pee, and I don't
Yeah,
get
dude.
anything.
I'm in there. You're in there trying to sign someone up to a pyramid scheme. Like, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Let me tell you about a business opportunity. And they fucking kicked him out, and it was like a huge deal. It was in Philly.
Damn.
That Starbucks came under massive fire, and they had to come out and be like, the CEO has to come out and be like, we don't like that at all.
It's so stupid too because they did that thing years ago at Starbucks where they're like, let's have a talk about race. Remember that ad campaign they did, and we're like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Because they kicked out a black guy. They had to do it.
That's so stupid.
And now they have murderers. Yeah, that's what happens. They're like, oh, they're kicking out black guys. I'm going to get a coffee before I murder someone. This is a perfect place for me.
Coffee it really is great.
Drinking a coffee and
It gets
murdering
you up.
somebody would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty nice. He's like heart rate's pouncing as you go away. You're like, God damn, I shouldn't have had that second shot of espresso. That was too much. That was way too much, dude.
Yeah, I'm freaking out. No, I feel like just murdering someone would wake you up though.
True.
That would probably get your heart rate up. I also think, I was a little annoyed that New York's getting bad PR. They're like, told you New York's dangerous. I'm like, oh, we have to answer for this fucking psychopath?
Yeah,
I don't know
that's-
where he's from.
Yeah, and that's also not like, that's like a weird high-level hitman crime.
That's
You know
what they
I mean?
say, but then it doesn't look that professional because they found him on camera. And if you're a high-level hitman, you're not going to Starbucks before.
True.
That's a weird move.
True. Apple Pay. Right there. No, yeah, when I say high level, I mean just like killing a CEO is like a high level murder. You would think there was like some powerful interest behind it, or maybe it was just a psycho attacking. I don't even know that guy.
Who knows? I mean, it could be a guy who's fucked over more than a health insurance company. I mean, it's like, I feel like that's why Joker resonated with so many people because in the beginning, he's getting fucked over by his insurance. So you're like, all right, whatever he does is kind of fine.
That's true. No,
I
that's
think-
true. You
I
get a
think-
surgery the day before, your thing lapses, and like you got to pay fucking $90 million. You're like, you motherfucker.
We've all been on hold with an insurance company. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's where you lose it.
True.
Because, they always, I mean, and also it's like, it's a tough, that's a job I would not want. CEO, you're making a shitload of money at the expense of a lot of people who
yeah.
are suffering.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of insurance. You're taking in more money than you're paying out. So you have to try to pay out as little as possible.
And it does feel like they're trying to fuck you sometimes.
They are.
Yeah.
That they have to.
Yeah.
Their whole thing has to be, a lot of those places are like, they have like research about this. There's just like 40% or whatever of people, if you're just like, yeah, sorry, no, they'll just be like, well, I guess I'm fucked then. And then there's like another percentage of people who will actively follow up, but then you can be like, well, all right, we're going to sue you. And like, all right, I'm not doing that. So there's like only a small percentage of people will like know the steps to be like, oh, I got to get a lawyer now. Like nobody thinks about that or like can afford a lawyer.
And it's exhausting. They tire you out. If you're sick, you don't want to deal with making all these phone calls anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about all the time the ways they pretend they're hooking you up. I was at a dermatologist once and like, your insurance covers you like a free chemical peel. And I was like, why the fuck would I want a chemical peel? And they're like, well, you get it for free. And I was like, maybe I want one.
Yeah, maybe I'll take that.
It's free. But then they didn't cover the fucking medication I needed.
What?
So it's like they cover shit you don't need. It's like they know how to fuck you, is my
Yeah,
point.
yeah, they do. They're very good. Again, it's the whole point of their operation is to take in more money and pay out less. And they're supposed to pay you out if bad things happen. But the way
Yeah.
they can make more money is to not pay you out. And then if you don't know the steps, it's like, yeah, that guy's fucked.
This feels political now. We're like standing back
I'm
and forth.
telling
We're
you,
just
dude.
agreeing.
I'm telling you, we are,
Like,
right? Well, that's a great point.
this is crazy.
That's a great point. I actually agree with that.
We do have to do something about these healthcare companies.
True. But yeah, I mean, that one guy, he did it.
Not that much.
Yeah,
but
that's too much. That was too
something.
damn much. That
Yeah.
guy's...
A silencer too is like, it also makes you realize how desensitized
It's
we
pretty
are.
pro hitman, dude.
I
Silencer
feel-
too?
But you could just buy a silencer.
Can you?
I'm sure somewhere.
Wait, I wanna
in
get-
America, you're telling me you
Yeah,
can't?
true.
It's
That's
not that
true.
hard to get a gun here.
I thought they're... Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess silencers aren't that illegal.
I don't know.
I mean, they have to be illegal. You can't wear a bulletproof vest. If a cop sees you in a bulletproof vest, you can get like they can stop you. Like, what the fuck?
I feel like if you're a CEO of a health insurance company, you should get to wear a bulletproof vest for a while.
True.
Like a little while.
That's how they say that's the best way to get away with killing somebody is opening the door, and as soon as they open, just blast them and walk away. Because you don't enter the house, you don't leave DNA evidence. But
Damn.
all the cities now are gridded with cameras. Like you really can't do that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like we're like close to living in like a Minority Report type of world where,
Yeah.
it's like, how are you? It's amazing when people get away with murder. Like that's why that John Bonet thing was so shocking. I was like, in my head, I was like, well, I wonder who did it. I forgot they didn't solve it.
Oh yeah, they didn't.
They didn't solve it. It's so shocking You watch Forensic Files. I like the ones where they solve it too. I don't like the true crime where they're just like unsolved murders. It's so unsatisfying. You're like, there's a piece
Yeah.
of shit who got away. But then you watch Forensic Files and they're like, thanks to DNA, we caught this guy.
Got him every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, whenever I watch that and they don't catch the guy, I'm like, he's definitely right outside my house right now. He's gonna fucking rape me and kill me. He's gonna kill me.
I used to watch those. They'd be marathoning them on the road on like headline news and just be like 40 Forensic Files on the road. I'd be watching, in some fucking motel on the side of the highway, just like opening my, like, oh, fuck, why am I doing this to myself? Opening that dumb little curtain. You see meth heads.
Yeah, I still get scared. I get scared in hotels all the time. I'm like,
Really?
yeah, like I'll just hear like someone else's door bang and I'm half asleep and I'm like, someone's in my room. And I just like, I look around. I'm like, dude, you're such a fucking pussy.
I was leaving a hotel in Omaha a couple years ago, and there was a guy. It was like 4 a.m. early flight. It's like a 6 a.m. flight out, and there was a guy just sitting on the floor in the hallway, just like crying. Oh. And I was like, you just don't want to even see. You just like something bad happened.
No, man. Yeah, you don't want to see
Yeah.
that at all. That sucks. Would you just walk right by, just wheel
Of
your
course, I'm
wheel
not
your
dealing with
leg?
that guy. I think I'm going to chat him. What happened, buddy? Best case scenario, there's a dead hooker in that room. Something bad happened.
Yeah, true. Oh, God.
Or
yeah.
a live one, and I don't know. Something bad happened though.
Yeah, also, I was like, go in your room, dude. Don't fucking, this is what they're for. Go cry like everyone else does in your hotel room. Don't sit in the hallway.
I know.
Tension
The public crying is, and then like in New York, I don't mind it as much because that city's supposed to break you. But when you see it in like a smaller town, you're kind of like,
Yeah.
something sinister just occurred.
Omaha. Yeah, true. True, yeah. Oh, man.
Oh man,
that
Ryan
sucks.
Hamilton, my friend, has a joke. It was like New York's the only city where you just see people openly weeping.
Did you
know?
see it a lot there?
Yeah.
I could see that. I did.
I guess other cities. I guess Philly too.
yeah.
Boston. I think big cities you'll see it.
I did a month sublet in New York because I like thought about moving there like a long time ago, and I was like, man, get the fuck out of here. I went right back to Philadelphia. I was
Really?
Like, oh my, I couldn't do it.
But the Philly to Austin is an interesting move because it's such a different pace,
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I had kids. And once, like, when I had the kids, I'm like, I wanted to get out of Philly anyway. And then I was, like, thinking about moving to, like, the outside of Philly suburbs. I had this, like, it would have been a bad plan. I was looking at this, like, plot of land that turned out to be, like, a floodplain. It was bad. And I was like, I'd be an hour from every airport. And, like, there was no way I
yeah.
could do stand up there. I was like, I'll make it work. And then I was talking to Shane. He's like, you want to go to Austin? I was like, yes, please. That would solve all my problems. Thank you. That'd be the best thing ever. Because that way it's, like,
Yeah.
a decent quality of life and for, like, kids and stuff. And you can just do stand up every night if you want.
Yeah, the club is good, man. The mothership's cool.
It is good.
It's a good
Motherfucking
club.
ship. It's a
It
good
makes
club.
me a little nervous how many people are always there. I don't like to, because I want to do new stuff, and I don't want to just like, you see these people every few months for me because I'm visiting. I'm like, I don't want them to see me bombing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is-
I like to bomb in the shadows.
It's true. True. It is an intimidating green room too. And it's like it's just that long
lot.
oak table and there's 40 fucking people and it's like, yeah, I was silent for the first like 5 months. I would just sit there and just be like, "Ugh."
It's hardcore. It's like a weird health movement, but also everyone's smoking cigarettes in there.
I know.
I did the smelling salts.
I don't understand why
I don't
people
know why I did it. Rogan's like, oh yeah, they're good. They'll help you. No one tells me not to put them right to my face. I thought I was dying because I've had allergic reactions
Yeah.
before, and I was like, and Joe's like, he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm like, God, I'm such a pussy.
No, it's ammonia. That's right. Your body you're just smelling ammonia. And I don't know why everybody does it.
I think I saw Josh Allen or some football player do it on TV, and I was like, oh, I should fucking get me jazzed up for a set. And
That's
then I
kinda
tried it, and I was like, yeah, if you're like a pro athlete, it seems kind of cool, but I'm not. I'm a whiny fuck who just was like, ugh.
There's better
Sucks.
ways to get lightheaded. It's all. Getting lightheaded is cool, but it's like I don't understand. I see dudes back there just ripping them, and I'm like, dude, you guys just telling me you love smelling ammonia like that. Like, just fucking drink some coffee. Do anything else.
Coffee's the move.
Yeah, do anything.
I saw a
dude.
bartender once say to someone, she goes, do you have any Red Bull? He goes, we don't carry Red Bull. You want caffeine buzz? We'll give you coffee. And I was like, wow, the way you said it was so cool.
Oh, shit.
I think about it all the time.
Just
Coffee.
gatekeeping the caffeine buzz.
Yeah,
He's
he's like, fuck Red Bull.
bullshit out of my fucking face. I
I
drank
do-
a Rockstar last year because I was like tired and I was like, I was at the Super Bowl with Shane. I was like, I was like, I don't drink that much, so I was like hungover from the day before. I'm a total pussy. I'm
Oh,
like,
with him, it's impossible not to be hungover.
dude, I was dying.
You can't be a casual drinker around Shane. You can't have, you either are sober or you have 14. You can't have two.
There's no middle ground. And
Yeah.
that night I had like a lot, and the next day I'm just struggling. I'm like, oh, so I was like, let me get a Rockstar, dude. I felt like I was on meth. I drank like half a Rockstar, and I was like, I gotta go home, guys. And I was like laid in my hotel room, like, oh, I felt terrible.
Oh, dude, I hate them.
I wish somebody stopped me and said, you want a fucking caffeine buzz? Have a coffee. There's shit in that stuff. I don't know what it is.
Even gas station coffee, I like. I just like coffee. I like the ritual of the coffee, the energy drinks. I remember drinking, when you're a young comic, barking and stuff. I need energy. I'll drink a 7-hour energy, and I'm like, even then, you're like, this is. We haven't heard from them in a while. Lord knows what the fuck was in that shit.
Oh
you know?
yeah. The 5 hour when they do the shot real quick.
But then it turned into like 7 hour.
Oh,
Like, it was
really?
like that something about Mary scene where he's like 6 minute abs, and he's just like, what if someone did 5? And he's like, no. But they went the other way.
Damn,
just
they
kept
bumped
adding.
up 7-minute energy.
Yeah, that shit. I think it was 7. Wasn't it 7 hour energy? I think they kept bumping it up.
That makes sense. It's also it is funny to just like the term energy just got like appropriated into being like you're just like hitting yourself with stimulants. It's like, no, I have energy right now. It's like, no, dude, your fucking brain's wired on stimulants.
Yeah, well, I was listening to your podcast where you're talking about, just sleep and how important sleep is. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, we'll do anything but the thing we're supposed to do.
I know.
Sleep is the thing.
Dude, I fought it for a long time because I would get into coffee. I'm like super sensitive to caffeine, so if I drink caffeine in the morning, I for real have 7 hour energy. I'm like,
But do you take
wired.
naps during the day ever?
If I drink caffeine, I can't take
Same.
naps. So what I try to do, I like just white knuckle through a morning. Then I won't have coffee, but I will take a nap in the middle of the day. And it's like, dude, you feel so good.
I've never been able to do it.
Oh, I love it.
I
Dude.
can't. Sometimes I'll be so tired that I just fall asleep early or something. But like, I can't nap. I drink too much caffeine.
That's a problem. If I have caffeine, no nap, or I'll take a fucked up nap where I wake up like, oh, like, oh fuck. But it's like, yeah,
How about the melatonin stuff? I hate that shit.
dude, I tried it, and then someone told me it shrinks your balls, and I'm like,
Really?
They hit me with the yellow 5. They're like, yo, that stuff shrinks your balls, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. So I was taking it on the road.
Why does it shrink your balls?
I don't know. Andrew Huberman said it. Someone said
Really?
that Andrew Huberman said that, and I was like, all right, fair enough. I'm not fucking, he's got to be right. He's got to know about that.
He seems like he knows a lot of stuff.
He's using them, bro. So he's got to know. He's using his
Yeah.
balls a lot, so that guy knows. He's keyed in on the fucking ball research.
Yeah, the melatonin gives you nightmares. I feel like it.
Yeah, I would take it. I started fucking around with it on the road because I'd be like, I'd be in different time zones. I get off stage, and as soon as I get back to my room, just swallow melatonin, wishing it was just cyanide, just right in my throat. And I would like sit there and read a book, and all of a sudden you do get like really heavy.
Yeah.
Have you ever taken it before?
melatonin.
Yeah.
I have like a powder. This stuff I try sometimes called Beam, and it's like
Okay.
it's got all kinds. It's got magnesium, all this stuff.
Podcast sponsor.
Yeah, they sent it to me, and they sponsored the pod.
I had it too.
And I was like, I started buying it because
Yeah.
I was like, get me some more of that. They're like, they pulled their sponsorship. I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it like an
Get you
adult.
strung out like Elvis, dude.
Yeah. But but I would get nightmares. I would wake up like sweating, like what the fuck? I have nightmares every night, and I'd be like, that can't be good sleep.
No, yeah. That's I took it one time. Like I was like, I'll just take it at like fucking 6 p.m. Just get like ready for the sleep. I didn't realize how hard that shit hits you. I did the same thing, the Beam powder. And I was like getting something for my kid, and I was like, what the fuck? And it just like hit me out of nowhere, and I was like, oh shit. But yeah, it does. The melatonin works, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like it's just.
But does it work? Because
Yeah, are
like
you
we're not
getting-
feeling refreshed, right?
Yeah, I was like tracking. I was like psycho tracking my sleep at the time, and I would get like more deep sleep from it. But
Really?
Yeah, but it's like addictive, dude. Then like next thing you know, every night I'm like, I should take a little melatonin tonight, and I was just like, but I've heard that it's not when they say like 2-3 milligrams, 5 milligrams, it could be like anywhere from like 25 to 1. Like it's
What?
way off.
How the fuck do they get away with that?
I don't know. It's like who the hell's going back and forth and like analyzing it. So and they could say like these products in like tiny print, like may or may, but I've heard that. That's also from the Hubes.
Hate tiny print.
I know it's fucking.
So they fuck you.
It's fucking bullshit. But
they
yeah,
fuck you every
apparently
time.
Hubes is way against the melatonin. And then I heard the thing about like being 20 milligrams. I'm like, whatever. And he's like, it shrinks your balls. I'm like, that's say less, brother. I'm off
Are
it.
smaller balls that bad though? Who cares?
Yeah, but you don't want to get them shrunken. That's the problem. It's like, what the fuck? It just anything that can shrink your ball. It isn't that big of a problem when you think about it. But like, just having them
Hey,
shrunken.
your dick's looking a little bigger.
That's
you know?
true. That's actually
there's some stuff
you're
going
sleeping,
on.
You're sleeping great.
You're sleeping well.
Yeah, it's not a bad point.
But there is something about them being. It feels less manly, I guess. Big
Well,
balls is a good thing. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly. And it just there's something about it, something you're eating shrinking your ball. Like, dude, the yellow 5. As soon as I found out about that, I was terrified back in the day. Like, yeah, you know that shit.
What's the
shrinks-
yellow 5?
Never heard yellow 5 shrinks your balls?
What's that?
It's just a food dye. It's like the yellow 5 food dye
Oh.
or whatever the fuck it was called. But they were like,
You're
bro,
best off just eating as naturally as possible. But like that's the thing. Like when you travel for work and you're waking up at weird hours, like you're eating weird.
Yeah.
You're sleeping badly. Like it just adds up. You
yeah,
just
usually shitting not the best either.
a bad gas station shit. There's something about that where you're like, all right, there's something dark.
Yeah, especially the worse the bathroom looks too. Just shitting in it, you're just like, dude, how did I get here? This is terrible. Someone definitely just shot up.
Oh, everything's like a little less healthy when you go. Like in New York, you can eat pretty healthy,
Mm-hmm.
but then the diner's been destroyed in New York because rent is so damn expensive. So you're like, I just spent $22 on 3 scrambled eggs.
I know.
It's insane.
That's-
But then you go on the road and just the little things that you don't think about where you're like, all right, they put like a fucking bucket of butter on my toast.
Yeah.
You know, this is like the hash brown's a little crispier. Everything tastes great, but you're like, man, I don't have the energy I had after this meal that I normally have. You know?
No, dude, I'm almost pre-diabetic now. I was traveling a lot, eating out. I thought I was pretty healthy.
You look healthy. You look like a gym guy.
Dude, I was working out and everything, but I was eating so much food when I was like traveling. It's like, dude, I'm like getting the restaurant.
Because you need something. You need a win on the road. Sometimes you have a bad set or something, or you're like, just like the anxiety.
You need to do I need to do something somewhat self-destructive. And it's like, you know.
And you don't drink and you don't do
drugs. I don't really drink, and I have not cheated on my wife. So I'm like, I'm left with nothing but overeating. So I'm like, well, I have to overeat. So I would just pig out. And like, I can't.
For all the vices you have though, as long as you don't go diabetic, but like, that's not the worst vice.
Well, now I get to reverse it. Now I get to have a health journey where I can be like, guys, I was at 5.7 A1C. Now I'm going to try to get down. I kind of was happy to learn about that. I was like, oh, cool. This is like a cool thing now.
It's another chapter.
Yeah, exactly. It's like something I can do. And if I can actually get it down under control, that'll be kind of fun to be like, I got mine down. 5.7 is the beginning range of prediabetes. Like I'm at the door. I'm on the doorstep.
Damn.
My dad has
Don't
type
go
2
in.
diabetes. I know. I haven't.
Your dad is type 2?
Oh, yeah.
Is he overweight or no?
He's like lost. Yeah, he's got like a beer belly, but he also like, dude, I worked with him for a while, and he was demolition, and we would, on the way home from work, he would drink a milkshake every day.
Yeah,
that's how he rocked. It was like 4 soft pretzels and a milkshake every day on the way home. And I'm like, dude, I'm eating too much rice. How the fuck am I pre-diabetic? This is bullshit. This is fucking nonsense.
A milkshake. I haven't had one of those in fucking forever.
Dude, I've never seen anyone do that, because we were doing a thing where you burn steel, and it was I forget that galvanized steel, so it's coated in zinc, which, like, I don't know, protects it against rust or something. So when you burn the steel, there was this thing, they'd be like, yeah, you got to get your calcium. So it's like calcium somehow trapped zinc. This was all like
so that turned into a milkshake.
Yeah. Then he was like, we need milkshakes. It's like, so we can stay
This
healthy.
will help. McFlurries will help us if we. I think the last time I had one, we had Bill Burr on our podcast, and it's a drinking pod. So we were like, Norman's like, he doesn't drink. We should do. He likes milkshakes, and I'm like, all right. So we're like, we got to get Bill Burr in a good mood. So it was like milkshakes and cigars was the trick.
That's kind of nice,
and
actually.
it was a fucking great combo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, of course, two nice things. Of course, they but they don't always work together.
They never. I don't think anyone besides my dad actually does milkshakes and a cigar.
It was nice.
It was awesome. How do you like that?
He was in a good mood.
Nice.
We were. He, you just don't want to rattle him. He's Bill Burr. So
yeah.
But at first we were like. He was like, this time to this time, I have a heart out, like whatever you need.
Yeah.
We had a friend waiting in the hallway to do the next episode. And then at 4:15, his out was 4. We were like, we got to get out of here, right? He's like, no, I don't. He's just like hanging out. We're like, all right, I got a text from Mateo Lane. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's Bill Burr,
Yeah, that would suck, just absolutely drawing his ire and just having him just being like, fuck you.
You fucking asshole.
How's your milkshake, Bill? I just wanted you to have fun.
If you want to piss him off, just tell him the Patriots Super Bowl doesn't count where Marshawn Lynch should have run it.
That's a good point.
He screamed at me for like 15 minutes straight.
Really?
Yeah.
You could get him on the vax too. He's super freaked out on the vax. That'd be fun. But you got fucking vax. That would
piss him off.
Yeah, that would get anybody.
I'm not looking to piss him off.
No, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I would never call him Bill Fisber. Piss him off. But no, I would not want that guy on my ass. That would suck.
No.
You know what we could all use a little more of? Getting off asses. They didn't fucking fix that typo, dude. They had the same typo last week. Getting off asses. Forgot to put getting off our asses. Fuck! Fix the typo! With bold flavors and a crisp, refreshing citrus kick, Mountain Dew gives you that extra push to get moving and feel like you're on top of the world. A world where the sun's always shining and your crew's ready for action. And unforgettable adventures are just around the corner. Call out your favorite flavor. Still classic. I'm going classic right now. Code Red sometimes if I'm getting freaky, but right now just get the Mountain Dew Classic. Verbiage to use. Great tasting, refreshing, has a citrus kick, variety of flavors, bold flavors, helps you connect with others, is a treat, helps you celebrate, helps you express yourself, helps you take a break. Are you guys not convinced yet? You just read all those fucking words? Helps you connect with others and express yourself. Talk about what game and activity you play with friends. Dudes, look. Yeah, I've told you guys 100 times. I don't know why I got to keep talking about what I do. That's my personal life, what I do with my friends when we drink Mountain Dew. But lately, guys, we play a lot of games, but lately we just been skipping all the games and just straight up hooking up, all right? I'll be honest. Me and my friends have been hooking up after we drink Mountain Dew. The mountain is calling, and you should answer. Grab your friends, grab a nice cold Mountain Dew, wherever refreshing beverages are sold, and do the fucking do. All right. Does Blue Chew work? If you're asking that question, we want you to know that Blue Chew is putting their money where their mouth is by giving you a month free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part? It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Like a job interview. Again, guys, they want a personal endorsement. I haven't taken them. My dick gets hard as fucking hell, but I'll let you guys know if I start to hate my wife to the point where my penis doesn't work. Right now, I love her, and my penis gets hard for her when I see her naked vagina. Blue Chew wants you to have the confidence to perform at your best, so discover your options at BlueChew.com verbatim. Blue Chew wants men rock hard. They told me. That's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our audience. Try Blue Chew free. Just pay $5 at checkout when you visit BlueChew.com. Well, $5 shipping, so sorry, that'll throw you guys off. You can try Blue Chew for free. You just got to pay to get the Blue Chew to your house when you visit BlueChew.com. That's BlueChew.com to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring Managing the Secret Podcast. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 200 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 200 times your money on Prize Picks. Join now because this holiday season, Prize Picks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Damn, I hate they made me say Picksmas. Think James Cook will get more than 60 yards next week? Ooh, or Joe Burrow pass more than 1.5 TDs? Wow, I didn't think about Joe Burrow doing that many TDs. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. I mean, guys, how nice is that? Just getting in on real money sports action. I mean, I just love thinking about James Cook and Joe Burrow doing 60 yards and 1.5 TDs. I can turn that opinion into real money on real sports action. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code DRENCHED to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DRENCHED on the Prize Picks app to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. The holidays are about connecting with loved ones, and there's no better way to do that than with a digital picture frame from Aura. Wirecutter called it the best digital photo frame. That's so fucking crazy at the Wirecutter nod. And it's easy to see why. You can upload your favorite pics of family to one frame and relive all those happy moments again. Or share the big news, like a new edition maybe? What pictures do you and your family love sharing? It could be cute selfies, vacation pics, or funny photos. I mean, that is really nice. I love the show. I try to get dressed up really cute and show my wife and say, hey, check me out. Do you want to suck me or fucking what? Woo, are you going to give this gift frame to? Definitely my mom. I'm going to give this gift to my mommy. And if that's not personal enough, you can even upload a video message to play on the frames as soon as they plug it in. So the first thing they hear is your voice and how much you love them, or the ISIS beheading video you want to send your mom. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames by using promo code MSSP at checkout. That's auraframes.com. Promo code MSSP. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions do apply. That would fucking suck. Dude, we were talking about bathrooms. I read a thing today saying they're saying you got to check. If you're at like a public bathroom, you got to open the thing and look into the toilet roll because people using like, using like needles for drugs, heroin or whatever,
God,
are taking their syringe and just like sticking it, using that paper towel roll to like clean off the needle. And he showed a picture and it was just like little poke holes with just blood. Like little blood spots everywhere.
that sucks because you already don't want to shit in a public restroom.
I know, dude.
And now you got to worry about a needle.
dude. Yeah, for real.
Ugh.
And I don't know why the guy was like, women should be more concerned than men. It's like, all right, I'll take it. But it's like, yeah,
No, I'm not
apparently-
thrilled either. What the hell?
But it's like, dude, yeah. So I don't know what the rationale. Maybe vaginas absorb. I don't know. But it's like,
Well, I'm doing the tour bus for the whole thing, so it's a lot of public restroom shitting.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you can't poop on that bus.
Yeah,
You're not
exactly.
allowed to. So next day, either the rec center, we go play a little ball, or we,
That's kinda nice.
go to get, you poop there, or
check.
you poop at the.
Yeah, open the thing and just look. Even if you don't see blood, but if you see little poke holes, that means people were cleaning their needles off. And maybe it's some internet bullshit, but I saw the picture. I was like, that actually does make sense.
It bugs me too that these like heroin addicts are like worried about germs.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, like fuck, just do heroin,
Yeah,
you
be a
fucking
fucking
pussy.
be a man. Also,
Yeah.
it's like you're worried about germs. You're taking toilet paper roll. I'm like, let me clean this off.
Yeah, that annoys me.
Yeah, it was funny in Philly when they gave like there's like I'm sure you've seen the thing of like Kensington Avenue where it's like just K&A and there's guys like everyone standing outside. Did you ever see like that shit on YouTube?
What is that?
In Kensington Ave in Philadelphia, it's like one of the biggest heroin markets, like I think in the country. It's like Skid Row. It's not as big as Skid Row, but it is just the people outside, tents, like zombified, standing out there.
It'll shock you. That, I mean, this country, man, like every downtown now has that.
Yeah, except for Irvine. I was just in Irvine recently. They have 0 homeless people.
They got rid of them all.
They do.
Yeah.
In Irvine, they offer you a bed, and if you say no to the bed, they put you on a bus, and they're like out of here to LA. I swear that's their policy.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani did that back in the day in New York.
Did he really?
Yeah, they got rid of the homeless people.
They just gave
Sent
him
them on a train.
to where?
I think to the West Coast.
Damn.
So he probably sent them to Irvine, and then they were like, "You go back that way."
Get the fuck
That's probably
out
what
of here.
happened. Yeah, no, that's even in like downtown Salt Lake. I was, you're walking by like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude.
everywhere.
Yeah, but dude, it's funny in Salt Lake. I was there at a farmer's market like last year, and I was talking to this guy who was like he was campaigning for mayor. Yeah, I think he had been mayor before and stopped. He's like, they need me back, and I was like, the park was beautiful. I was like, dude, this is awesome here, and he was like, well, yeah, there was homeless people here, and like they got cleared out right before the farmer's market, and I was kind of hitting him with like, that's what's up, and he was like, no, it's actually an injustice, and this is why I'm running. I was like, oh shit, my bad. I was like, fuck, my bad, dude. He's like, it's really sad. They took the prescription medication and kicked him out, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, but look at these avocados. This is such a nice.
I did hit
market.
him with that. I was like,
Yeah.
you got to be honest, dude. Though it is way better. I was like, just on a level of just enjoyment. It is kind of sweet that they're not here right now. And he was like, whatever.
He wouldn't give that to you.
He was just kind of he was just kind of like, all right. But I was like, bro, I was like, it's nice you're defending them. Get their tents taken out. But I am, and I think it'd be sad if I saw that part. But the aftermath is nice.
It is weird too that these tents are being used for that. Like, the guy who designed the tents were like, "This is good for camping. You're going to go on a nice thing," and then you just get people with needles. Like, oh fuck.
That's true. You would think, the thing about like the love of nature, and you're out, you're like hunting and living off the land. It is mostly just like emaciated human beings like selling each other for sex and
It sucks, man. And it's
dying.
getting
A lot of dying in them. A lot of people
Yeah.
dying in those tents.
it's getting worse, man. You go around. You just find areas where you're like, there are so many people unwell that you're like, yeah, it's not going to get better anytime soon.
No, dude, and imagine no one's getting really born. Is anyone born into homelessness now, or do they just like what do they do with you then? I guess they take your kid.
Yeah, I guess.
didn't think about the
You don't
homeless
see a lot of
babies.
homeless kids on the street.
You don't, just the adults.
Yeah.
I think they take you if they see you as a homeless kid. No Oliver Twist. If they see you as like a young homeless kid, I think they're like, get the fuck out of here.
I would hope.
Because I'm just waiting, because if that becomes like a permanent class in America, that's what I'm kind of like seeing. Like, where do they go from there?
Yeah,
know
the
what I
new
mean?
thing, the Demolition Man, like predicted everything, and it's like the sewer people that might be next. You're like, fuck, all these.
Well, there are people who do live in like little catacombs and under bridges and stuff. And I heard Germany now they have a crack epidemic. In Germany, it's crazy. Nothing goes away. They just come back. Now Germans are dealing with like a hard 1980s crack epidemic.
Oh shit!
Like
Like
all
it
blazing
sounds so
rock.
vintage to
I know,
us, but
I
yeah,
know.
to them. Crack in Germany. And that was like the one place in Europe I didn't go, and I was so bummed because I feel like Berlin is supposed to be sick, and
Yeah.
I've never. Yeah, I was bummed I couldn't make that one work.
How is stand up in Europe? They all speak
It's
English. though.
amazing.
Is it
dude.
fun?
You know, it's funny. My worst set I killed last year in London, and then this time I just was like, I think it was my worst show there. I hit like Belfast, Dublin, Paris wasn't amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the city's amazing. Just like the stand up is it's whatever. Paris is meh. That's my no. And then what else? Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Stockholm, and Oslo were all incredible.
That blows my
Incredible.
mind. They can all like listen to stand up. I just assume I'm like, there's no way these guys.
You would have a lot of fans over there.
That's crazy.
It's amazing, and they're.
That's nuts.
It's look, some places like blow you away. You're like, wow, I moved more tickets than I expected here, and then some you're like, man, it's a light show, but even the light shows were pretty damn good.
That's awesome. I guess they're pretty happy. They're in another country and like
fucking beautiful.
yeah, just some fucked
But
up.
it is
bullshit
funny when you
country.
run into a fan on the street that like out of there. I saw a guy in Dublin, and he was like, "Oh my god, you're here!" I was like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And he goes, "Are you doing a show tonight?" And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I think there's still a couple tickets available. And he was like, Like I was like, oh, he's not going to come. Like, like, what are the odds I run into a fan an American fan in another country, and he's like, nah, I'm good.
I know.
I was like, well, all right.
All right, dude, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool though, to be in another country. Like, oh, that's crazy. People are like, hey man, what's going on? You're like, what the fuck?
They do a double take because they're like, why are you here?
Yeah,
But it's like, have you done Australia yet?
I did. I opened for Shane in Australia. It's
pretty cool.
It was cool. It's just the flight is fucking brutal,
fucks you up.
dude. It fucks you up for like forever.
The way back fucks you up worse.
Yes,
like
dude.
going there, it's like I just drugged myself.
Yeah.
Just a few muscle relaxers, a couple glasses of wine. I'm like, I'm fucking good
Yeah, I'm
out.
alright.
But then on the way back, I was like, I'm bad for like a week.
I was fucked up, dude. I had kids. That was like when they were really like even younger. So we did a show the last night. Got home at like maybe 2 or 3. Woke up at 5 for the airport. I don't think I really even slept. And then I can't really sleep on planes that well. So if I slept on the way back, maybe for an hour or two, and I was awake for the most of it, and then got dropped off at the Newark airport, and then had to drive. This one was in Philly. I was awake for basically 24 hours, and then had to just drive from Newark to Philly.
Oof.
And to my wife, who was like, "Finally, you're back," all that shit.
Yeah, you don't walk into a happy room there either.
No,
I see that with Gary because who I tour with, he's got a family and I don't. So I'm seeing he's like, she's like, you didn't FaceTime me. I'm like, oh my god, I'm just fucking,
dude.
I'm having a lower pressure.
You watching your kids cry through FaceTime while you're in a hotel room while your wife is just like huffing.
Yeah,
It's hell. It's the fucking worst. Like, you're sitting there like, hey guys, trying to tell you, well, maybe you should talk a little nicer. Maybe it's terrible. It's really bad. It's one of the saddest things of like when you travel for stand up. And then eventually, as they get older, it becomes a little better. But like when they're like little and
and you feel powerless.
Oh, you just feel awful, dude. And you're like, why am I doing this? This sucks. But then you get it. But then the thing I always tell
It's a
myself,
good example to work too, for your kids. Like you're doing
That's the thing.
You followed your dream and it worked out, and your kids will see that when they grow up, and that's a cool thing too.
that's what I tell my kids. I say, guys, I know you don't like when I go away, but if I were to stay here and do another job, I would kill myself. So do you want me to kill myself? You guys want your father to kill himself? Because it would be your fault.
We got your babysitter. His name's Jared Fogle.
But it is true. You do have to. There is like, because I'd be like, I should be around more. But I know if I had like a job that I hated, I would just be miserable in the house. So it's like, what's better, having kind of someone who's traveling a little bit and happy in the house, or someone who's there every day, like, ugh.
And you got this going, so you have other things going on. I think he said a good. I hear it more from female comics because I think women are expected to be like the mom should be there. The mom shouldn't be traveling. And I know some female comics who have babies or young kids, and they're just like, Rachel Feinstein's one of my best friends, and she was like, if he could go to work like whenever, he could do like all these 24-hour shifts. I leave for like a spot. They're like, they treat me like I'm Casey Anthony, So it's like,
when the baby's really young, it is like a biological reality that they do need the mom. Like they need the mom more. I mean, you can bottle feed them and stuff like that, but yeah, the mother guilt is like 50 million times worse. And yeah, you are judged.
You were in there. You were in her.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah. There's a connection. Yeah, it's a real connection. There's actually now I've read in Sweden. Man, the headline's really working in my favor today. They're actually applying to everything. But there's a movement now called soft girl. There's like soft girls now, they're called. So like there's women who are now rejecting the workforce and being like, no, I'm a soft girl. So you're either a boss. I was like, what the fuck's it called?
This is in Sweden.
Soft woman. Yeah, they call them soft women because you're either a boss lady or a soft woman. And now there's people embracing this soft woman lifestyle where they're like, yo, work sucks. I'm becoming just like a pure stay-at-home soft woman.
Well, that it would originate in Sweden because they're just so fucking liberal there. So it's like that's where they'll try out. It's like this is what we'll try out, the liberal idea, and if it takes flight, it'll move over to like the other Scandinavian countries, then make its way here. Yeah, but like that's where you debut it.
I think they went. Well, that's more. There's more like liberal boss ladies. If you're like a boss lady was like, I'm gonna kick ass at work. Don't even ask me to do anything around the house. It's fucking bullshit. Blah blah blah. But now there's a lot of women being like, yeah, this kind of sucks having a job. Like it's not as cool as I thought.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they identify as what their job is. Yeah. They're like, that's how they describe them. I'm a this.
Well, that's my thing is like, if you're in a 2-income household and your husband makes enough and you're still working, that's when I start to question. I'm like, dude, it's one thing if you're like running a fucking company, you're a boss lady, but when like women are like, I choose to work and they're like a team associate for like Verizon, it's like, fucking why?
But what if there's like a prenup and the marriage doesn't work out? Then you're kind of just like relying on him forever.
That's true. And then he can like take your cell phone and like get into there are those guys who do that. Yeah. That makes sense. That does make sense.
I think it's good to have your own thing, Yeah. I'm more attracted to women who have their own thing going on.
I like soft girls.
You want a girl who just waits for you?
Waits, yeah. Soft girl. No, I don't care. If a woman works, I don't care. It is I I just think there is something like I don't know, man. I do think there's something sad to have it put in a woman's head that like if they're not working, they're somehow like sold out their entire species, and they're like if they're brainwashed. It's like working
No.
sucks too.
Yeah. No, I don't think that way.
But I hear you. It is nice. I will say there is something nice to. Have
I
the
just
woman
don't
have
like the
her own
idea of a
thing.
woman waiting around for me.
That-
Like
yeah,
she doesn't
true.
do anything, and then she's like, "Where have you been?" Like I don't like that energy.
That's totally true. Because
I like her to have other shit like that she's got to deal with. I like it's good to have other things.
You're right. No, you are right because I would say that is the downfall of a soft girl or whatever the fuck they're called. The "where are you" text increased by 500%. Once you go from a boss lady to a soft girl, it's like they're just dishing off "where are you." It's like, "Where are you?"
I swear to God, when you said soft girl, I thought it was going to be like some like a trans like man, but like the penis doesn't work. I really thought because Sweden is so fucking liberal. I was like, it's going to be something like that. But
Well, dude, it is. There is something. Well, apparently, yeah. Sweden is the most liberal place, and that's why they're kind of like, what the fuck's going on? Because a lot of women now they're like, all right, we like laid the path. For, Jordan Peterson talks about this. You laid the path for gender equality, and there's like they have more people than ever who are like, fuck that. I'm just gonna stay at home and be a traditional wife, which, whatever. It's
But
just
that's
all
also,
fads.
but that's also there. You know, that's. I guess it's weird if you had a male friend who would do that. Like, I'm just gonna like hang out. And you're like, all right, because I have a friend like that, and he hits me up for money, and I'm like, dude, just fucking do something.
do something. Yeah.
He's trying. And
Is he a
offense.
soft dad or is he like?
No,
he's
he,
just
dude,
chill.
he fucked it. He had this woman who like was a hard worker and and she like wanted to have a family with him, and he was just like, nah, I'm good. And he's just like a single dude now.
chill. Oh.
I'm like, dude, you really misplayed your hand here.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting like Venmo requests from him. I'm like, dude, come on,
Come on,
$60. You got to get your life together.
That's true. Now, you did make a strong case for a boss lady because it is true. You do want kind of someone who has their own thing going on, or else they're going to be fucking bugging you.
I just think it's nice. You have another thing. It's just like, you know, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like a crazy, but just have something else because you don't look at the divorce rate. Nothing. I mean, you hope things work out, but
No, it's about 50. I think we just came down from 50 to like 48%.
really,
Yeah.
So that's all right.
It's high. It's still pretty fucking high, dude.
But that's it's you know
50-50.
There's a reason people are getting less. Why is that?
Wait, getting divorced less?
Yeah, 2% is something, right?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
That's two. You said 48 instead of 50. I thought it was so it went.
Yeah, it went
right?
down a little bit. It went down a little bit. It's all geographically.
I think
depends
abortion went down slightly too.
Did it really?
Yeah, maybe people are just being a little safer. Who knows?
Yeah. I wonder because it's the saddest divorces I've seen are when like people don't even hate each other at the end when they're just kind of like.
It ran its course.
It's just when two people just like lose all passion for each other and it's kind of like.
Yeah, you think you're gonna have like a season 4 Carmela Tony blowout in The Sopranos, but then at the end you're just like,
Yeah, I've always thought
dead.
I always thought that was the saddest like versions. You hear people like, yeah, we one day looked at each other and we're like, nah, it was pretty mutual and peaceful. I'm like, that sucks. You want it to be like tears.
But if you have kids, that's what you need. Because
That's
the
true.
bad ones, you've seen those where you're like, holy shit, they just hate each other. I've seen people
Yeah,
who stay
true.
together who fucking hate each other. And that makes me sad too.
That's bad.
Because you're just like, you hate going home. That friend who will stay out with you all night. And you're like, man, this person rocks. And you're like, oh, they're deeply unhappy. That's why they're still drinking with me. Like you're just like so grateful. They're like, this person wants to party, but they hate their home life.
That's true. That is the one thing where when the divorce rate is at 40%, it's like a lot of marriages, like just growing up, you see, you're like, damn, these guys hate each other. So that is a sad thing too to like. There's no easy way because it is going to be stressful, but it's like, when do you throw in the towel is like a weird question. And mostly women initiate divorce.
Yeah.
It's mostly women who initiate it, which is
Yeah.
like I've always been struck by that, but it's like.
Yeah. Maybe women put more stock in happiness. I think dudes are kind of more comfortable being miserable.
Yeah, true.
Women are like, am I happy? Like they're more introspective. I think women question things more than we
Yeah.
do. Like I'm happy to just go through life being like, I need a joke. I need this, But then every once in a while when you like face your feelings, you're like, oh my God, like it'll scare, because women are just like trained to deal with their feelings.
Yeah, all the time.
And we're not. So when I'll just like, I'm like, I'm feeling something I don't like. Whiskey, please. Just like,
Yeah.
I'll just bottle it up. But
Yeah,
that's not
they're
good either.
They're incommunicado all the time with each other about like what's stressing them, what's going on. And they are good about that, but sometimes it can be too much where I'm like, dude. It's like, well, you're invalidating my feelings. They're dumb. They don't apply to the problem. They're just getting in our way. Turn it off now, cram
Yeah.
it down, and fucking deal.
Yeah.
But you are kind of right. I think I've talked about this before, but one time I was with my wife and she was like freaking out where it's like bedtime. She was just like panicking. I could hear her breathing weird. I'm like, what's the matter? And she was like, I'm like, just tell me what's wrong. Dude, she listed a rapid fire response of like 6 problems at once that had like sub problems about like this person. And I was just like, stop right now. It was so fast and it was just like
and so organized.
Yes, it was like this interconnected web of like this person, that, and this happened, and then they thought this and that, and I was just like, all right, I don't ever want to glimpse into that ever again. But I was like, I feel for you.
Was it a work problem or just like a home problem?
I don't even remember. It was more of like a friend group / work thing that she was
Those kill
freaking
me.
out. Oh, dude, it was like,
you watch these. I don't watch them, but some of my girlfriend will have these like Real Housewives shows on, and I'm like, you're just manufacturing problems. I know that they're like fake and they're written and stuff,
yeah.
but these people, just the idea of these people who have nothing going on, they're like, this person didn't invite me to a party, and that's like an arc.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's your life.
that's like a punch in the stomach in girl world though. You have a party.
That's true.
You have a party.
But sometimes it's even less than that. Sometimes like this person like cut me off or was rude to me, and you're just like, all right.
Yeah, hold a grudge.
You're right. The party thing is actually, that was a bad example.
No,
but
but
that's-
no, that does make sense though. It is
Yeah.
dumb, but it is like that is a thing since women don't like.
it does suck to
physically
not get
fight each
invited
other.
to a party. I don't want to go, but I do want to be invited.
Yeah, man.
Like I don't
that's
want to
true.
go to weddings ever, but like when I don't get the invite, I'm a little like, that's a bummer.
I get kind of sad as well.
Yeah.
I'd really not like to go to almost anything, but if I don't get invited, I don't like. What the fuck would
You just want to be thought of. You don't want to actually do it. You just want the. It's almost like at some point the consent is better than the sex.
Yeah.
Where you're like, that woman was like, that woman would fuck you, and you're like, what? That's amazing. And then you just go home and you jack off, and you're like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly,
I don't
yeah.
need the fucking sex.
I don't want to. Yeah, I want to keep the fantasy in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the
you-
sex would ruin it. The sex would. She would be like, oh, that was horrible, and you'd be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, that stinks.
But the idea that it could have happened, you're like, oh, fucking. I'll take
yeah,
it.
I always wonder. It's like, especially when you're before you're married, you do like, you're like, all right, I'm gonna have sex. It better be good. Now I'm just like, I'm not. I mean, if it's good, it's great. But if you'll just let me in there, I'm like, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Now you get to the point. I used to get like sad and resentful about that. Now I'm like, that is actually nice. of You not wanting to have sex and letting me do that. I'm like, thank you for that.
It's considerate.
That's very nice. I mean, that's very nice of you. You didn't have to do that. Next time, show some little more fucking spirit, all right?
I'm dating someone. I was walking back to the hotel from the comedy club last night, and some woman was like, "Oh my!" She was like so excited to see me. I was like, "Oh, what's up?" And I was like, "Well, if I was." She was like, "I'm a big fan." I was like, "Oh shit, cool." And we were talking a little bit. She was attractive, and I was like, "Man, if I was single, I would try to have sex with her, and I would lose a fan. I might as well just keep the fan.
True.
I'm better at comedy than that."
That is really funny, dude. That is, yeah. I've always been married. I never got to like sexually interact with my fan base.
How long have you been married?
5 years.
Oh, okay.
So I've been married.
I didn't get it when it was like good, really. I feel like because I was always just so quickly out of a breakup, and it was just like I was too sad, or I like when or I would ruin it. I remember I fucked like an older woman in Portland once, and I was so sad after a breakup. She's like a divorced woman. She had a really nice house. And right after I came, she was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, I just miss my ex." And then she was like asking about it, and I was like, "I'm sorry, it's just like very fresh." And she was just like, "Well, it sounds like she doesn't want you back." And I was like, "She might." Like we got into like an argument about her. I was like, "It could work." And I was like, "Wow, this is like the worst one night stand ever. I suck."
There is something cool though about like the divorced lady energy.
Oh, she was like,
I'm
it was
glad
kinda
those ladies
cool.
are out there.
Oh my god, I love it.
Like, fuck your ex. She says like $1 million house.
yeah,
in
she's
Portland.
like, "Yeah, things don't work out, kid." You know?
I haven't seen my kids in 6 months. They fucking hate me. Yeah, that is kind of funny to be like, she doesn't want you.
I know. She was right.
Oh, really?
She was definitely right. But I mean, I wasn't ready to hear it. I was still sad.
Yeah,
and you're just
true.
trying to numb yourself on the road. It's like anyway, it's like what I'm saying. You're trying to avoid the feelings of feeling.
Yeah.
But you have to, I've gotten better at just feeling when I'm sad.
Yeah, true.
Or, what you were saying in that podcast the other day, like just forcing yourself. I'm not like working out hard, but I'll go to the gym and you get a little boost,
Do something, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that helps me. I've been good at that. Like, I've been trying to do a thing where I just like, if I'm in a hotel, my first instinct is like, I'm just gonna fucking watch porn and jerk off because otherwise I can't fall asleep. Otherwise, and I've been like forcing myself to just lay in my bed and just feel whatever that feeling is of like, before that I would go away if I just jerked off.
I know what you
And,
mean. It's so tempting. It's like made up perfectly for it.
It's crazy, and I'm like, what is going on in me? And then I'll sit there and feel it. I'm like, maybe I can just fall asleep naturally, and then I will actually get relaxed, and then I'll just watch porn and jerk off. Oh my god, now I'm really gonna fall
I did the
asleep.
exact same thing last night. The only difference between me now and me and like in my 20s is I read afterwards.
Oh,
I
nice.
had my book with me. I was like, I'll read a few pages, then I'll fall asleep.
That is, yeah, like
Yeah.
nobody needs melatonin.
I still watch porn and jerked off, but I
you read your book.
read my book.
That is the melatonin company does not want you to hear this, but yeah, if you watch porn and then read a book,
You could do it.
you do not need melatonin.
You get sleepy.
You do. I read every night before bed. I love it, man.
What are you reading?
Right now, I'm reading a book called Money and the Meaning of Life. That's like, it's pretty good. It's this professor talking. He's like a comparative religion professor who just like yammers on about like how money is like central to like, just like it's so deeply embedded in people's psyches and how it's like, we're pretty unique in that regard as like a civilization because it's like relatively new, I guess. And he just says like how you just need like to come up with a way in life that like money's always going to be important. If you try to tell yourself it's nothing, you're just fooling yourself because it's like when you put like a lesser or base desire, you try to banish it from your consciousness, it just becomes wild and then just like goes crazy and like goes out of control. So his whole thing was like just try to make money the second most important thing in your life, because he's like it's probably the most important thing for pretty much everyone. It's understandable that it is, but if like you can make it the second most important thing, he's like that's an amazing achievement.
That's true, and family will be your number one.
No, me. But no, but yeah, anything, family, just anything you're doing. It gets into the gift economy, how a true gift never stops moving. Like you're like it's like there's like a I don't know, but yeah, he's like if you can make it second most, and it's like money's tied in with all of your other kind of like creaturely concerns. Where he's like if you can try to somehow make that second most important, he's like amazing achievement.
That's
pretty. It was a good lesson. Yeah,
sometimes you just need to be reminded of things that we kind of already know.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of know it, but a guy's just like, it's with everything. It's like, fuck. Sometimes you just see a comedian, you're like, oh yeah, I'm just supposed to be funny.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just so simple. Like you see the most obvious message in a movie or book and you're like, why did I know that, but why did I lose sight of it?
All the time. Yeah, it happens all. And that's what he was saying. He's like, when you try to banish these things from your consciousness, they just kind of work in the shadows and just take right over again without you even knowing. But yeah, that's helped me a lot in stand-up, because I used to always fucking panic everywhere. I'd be like, oh fuck. Now I'm just like, there's people here, they want to laugh. I'm going to do my best.
You had anxiety to perform, you mean?
Yes. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time, yeah. Yeah, I would just sit there and go, ugh.
I dread it. I get really, and then I'm on and I feel fine. Once I get the first laugh, I feel fine. But like, yeah, I dread the waiting.
Yeah.
A comic before me could run the light by 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, you're killing me.
Get the fuck off.
I just want to fucking go on.
I know. Yeah, I've like relaxed a lot, but if I'm in a new scenario, like when I moved down to Texas, I had to go to the mothership. I was just like,
you have to prove yourself all over again.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people know you, but you still have to. You feel like you have to prove yourself.
It's true. And I was like working on pretty much newish material, because I like did the special, and like I was like still trying to like build up like an hour. So I was just shitting myself the whole time. But it's like now I've like tried to take myself out of the equation as much as I can, and just be like, these people want to laugh. I'm gonna try to make them laugh, and if I don't do well, it was a valiant effort, and I'm not gonna like freak out or be like, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like that stuff is bad.
I used to always think like, it's one set. It's not going to change my life in any way. If you get a new joke, cool. But like this, I'm not ruining myself over this set.
Yeah.
Although Michael Richards might have thought the same thing. So you never know. But but that's how I feel.
Everyone bombs. Yeah,
everyone says the N-word a bunch to strangers in the crowd. Luckily, camera phones aren't a real thing yet.
True.
Wait a second. Yeah.
No, you should have had the yonder bag, dude. Yonder bag is so important.
Yeah, Chappelle has to protect material. Other comics are like, I might have a racist tirade. I just need. No, but I really do feel that way. Like nothing really that bad is going to happen. Like you just give them the best show you can, especially when you're like really, you're working on stuff and you're building, and hopefully the crowds now are sophisticated enough to understand like how we have to do this. So they know, they listen to enough podcasts and stuff, or you're doing your show on your tour and you're like, this is where it's at right now. I hope it's good enough, but like, it'll get there,
For sure. You still get those psychos like, so you're going to do the same thing on the next show? And you're like, yes, I am. Get the fuck out of here. Do you like make it up every time? You're like, no, dude. What the fuck do you think I am?
I know. People think that.
I know.
Isn't that
like,
crazy?
They're like, so you're going to do like, what are you going to do for the next show? Just like something totally different? I'm like, no.
Well, you do. I mean, look, there are moments where we're riffing, so they think that maybe the other stuff. There are moments where we're like, at the end of the show, I'll fuck around with the crowd. I'll like scream at a current event. I'll try to, or I'll do whatever. Say
that's kind of fun.
Stuff like that, just to, because I get bored with the material anyway. But like, yeah, the fact that they think it's all off the dome is insane.
It's crazy. But
that would be so fucking. I mean, there are dudes. I think Rory Scovel would do some shit.
He
like that.
He did a whole special where he just went completely off the dome.
He's a different breed though in that way. I think that normal comics, you just can't.
No, I don't know. It'd be a fun experiment, but it's also like.
But it would do a disservice. Like, can you imagine like Chris Rock off the dome as opposed to like seeing his? I want to hear his polished stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. It's one of those things that sounds cool, but you'd also have to tell the audience, that way they're bought in, so they're not just kind of like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I know.
But well, dude, I think you crushed it, man. I think we're at an hour. Thank you so much.
So fun, yeah.
That was a blast, dude.
It's the most we've ever spoken.
I know.
Yeah, if you're ever in New York, you got to come by ours.
Please, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
This is what I've been video recording my basically first time really meeting people. It's really sweet. It's really cool. It's really awesome. But dude, thank you, man. What do you have? Do you have anything you want to?
Yeah,
dude, I don't want to hear a wet dream for me, you cocksucker. Fuck off.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I have a fucking authority problem. Mine must be nothing, because I think that is real. The link to authority problems is just a relationship with your dad.
And my mother's go-to my whole life as a child growing up, she's like, when I just couldn't figure out fuck about shit, she's like, we should put you in the Marines. Like, if you don't, what do you think I want? A fucking muscle jacked fuck waking me up at 4 a.m. to 5,000 push-ups? You can fuck off.
Yeah, that would spaz you. I have one of my moms, someone like my mom knows, got dishonorably discharged. From what I heard of just waking up and being like, get the fuck away from me. And they're like, dude, you're out of here.
Dude, that approach does not work with me.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Well, because I already am wired with like, if it doesn't make sense to me, it's wrong.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So like right out of the gate, I have a lot of shit going against me because a lot of things don't make sense to me. So I walk around like wrong, could do better, should do better, blah.
Yeah.
So it's what I've learned in life for me is that it's all about approach, right? And today it's much easier for me coming from a position of simply understanding as opposed to being understood.
Yeah.
You know? So like I just accept you for where you're at, the jarhead for where he or she's at, you know, and just it's cool.
Yeah, that was something that blew my mind during COVID, and I've like mentioned this before, but I still can't get over it. Like I didn't realize how much I did this, but like, especially during like, so before COVID, I didn't know that I was really doing this, but I go through a supermarket and like every person I saw, it would just be this like weird invisible battle in my head where I'd be like, look at this fucking guy, fucking pussy jerk off. And then I would see a lady and like, fucking chick's not even hot. Is she looking at me? No, she's not, fucking bitch. And like, and you're doing this like crazy maniacal thing in your head. And then COVID, it came to a fever pitch because there was like the mask versus no mask. And then it was like, it was just like, it just all came to a head where I was like, dude, why am I this stressed while taking a walk? And I started doing a thing where like, when I would be out at a grocery store, I would really focus on not having like a silent battle against people and instead just like wishing strangers well. And like you were saying, exuding that, whatever that energy is. Dude, I felt so much more comfortable in public after that.
Yeah.
Which was like, it was like a revelation for me.
I love being right-sized by humanity. It just happened to me recently. And I'm really good at like, again, I really have dove into this whole spiritual aspect of my reality and believing.
When you say you're right side, sorry, what do you mean?
Like, my ego will allow me to create these delusional narratives that aren't even fucking real. And then when I'm proved wrong, when I really believe I'm right, I'm like, dude, I am a fucking asshole. And it just happened. You're a Philly guy, right? You'll relate to this story. I had a crazy weekend. I was in New York, all kinds of stuff going on. I drive back and I have like these weekly dinners at this place in Fishtown Sunday nights. And you know, Fishtown's kind of oversaturated with like a lot of hipsters.
Sure.
And in my mind, hipsters are just kind of tattooed, bearded, angry people for no fucking reason. It's not like they lack resources or whatever.
Yeah.
I create this narrative. So I had a long weekend and I'm trying to park under the L to go to this restaurant I go to, and there's this ice cream truck, and it's fucking just submerged with hipsters getting ice cream, and that's cool, right?
Yeah.
But as I'm doing this 3-point turn, someone I've actually like, oh, he's fucking pissed, dude. He's got a problem. So now I haven't even seen the person.
Revved off.
I'm ready, and I'm like the most fucking passive aggressive. Like I cringe at the thought of confrontation. But if you caught me on the right time, I'm like, it's fucking on.
Yeah, let's go.
So as I'm parking, I see him, and it's a hipster with tattoos and a beard who I already have created an issue with, but I don't even know this person.
Yeah.
And he locks eyes with me as I'm hoping he would, so we can fucking get to it.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh shit, you're so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, dude, I fucking love your work, man. And he had a camera in his hand and he was taking portraits and
You
still.
just socked him in the
He's
face.
like, can I get a photo of you? He said, what I do. And I'm like, dude, fuck yes and fuck me, right? Because I walk around just like at times.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by really enjoying being right-sized. Because I have a job sometimes that consists of knowing everything, right? And that places me in a lot of positions that I don't really like to enjoy.
Yeah. When you say you have a job, what do you mean?
Because like, you know, for so long when I was caught up in addiction, right? When logical people who knew how to stay sober would suggest to me what I might want to do in order to save my life, I'd suggest why they should fuck off.
Yeah.
Because I know. I was too smart for my own goddamn good. Right. And then I got to this place where the pain became so unbearable. I was able to look back and recognize that like every common denominator in every one of my problems was me.
Yeah.
And maybe if I just get the fuck out of my way, I might stand a chance of living a better life. And what I do know is that I don't know. Because when I think that I know, there's no open mind. I am not teachable, and I'm definitely not willing to try anything that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Which just sets me up for a fucking, you know, all these terrible experiences.
Yeah, take me back through that. So what was like, how did you, like, what's your story? Like, how did you get in that? Obviously you're saying like, you know, family or, you know, home life, not great. And then like eventually to like, you know, gaining a ton of notoriety. Like what was that like for you going from like the beginning to like the thick of all that stuff?
Well, it's a very interesting narrative and storyline, I believe. Because I come from Baltimore and you're obviously from Pennsylvania, so there's a lot of similarities at this table, but coming from that home life of a pretty chaotic household and a father who was pretty out of his fucking mind, I believe I was genetically predisposed to addiction or alcoholism, and that paired with the atmosphere I was brought up in, it just made sense.
Yeah.
But throughout that journey, I was blessed with a skateboard, and I fell in love with skateboarding, and another guy from Baltimore named Bucky Lasik.
Yeah.
Who
I played him on Tony Hawk for sure.
He's my
I know you're
fucking, he's the man. He's the legend. And he was from Baltimore and he kind of recognized the talents I possessed. So he took me under his wing and got me sponsored by PAL. And that's where the skateboarding world took off. But then we would go to Cheapskates in Pennsylvania, the skate park.
Was it Boards and Blades or what?
Boards and Blades was later
After?
on,
Okay,
and
right,
that
right.
was right off Route 1 right there.
I was a young boy at Boards and Blades, and you would
Totally.
see like Bam
Yeah,
and
we
Squad
would
would
come
come through, and
skate
I'd be
there.
like, oh,
we filmed like some of
fuck.
the CKY shit there.
Yeah.
Like the stunts and stuff.
Yeah.
Naked Dave doing an ollie over the pyramid, and then Bam, I think kicking him or punching him or something like that.
Yeah, that was always legendary. You guys would come. We were like 12. We'd be like, oh, dude, fuck.
Yeah.
Like trying to do one heel flip, like this fucking rules, dude. I'm gonna get sponsored.
It's it. Pro board coming.
Oh, it was
As soon as I get this heel flip.
Yeah, they're coming. Spitfire's coming for me, dude. Once I get that.
Need a manager at this point. Too overwhelming. But nonetheless, so I meet Bam, and then we at that skate park called Cheapskates, which was clearly before your time. If
Yeah.
Boards and Blades was when you started.
Yeah.
And
where was Cheapskates?
I don't know. It was in
Okay.
Pennsylvania, and we
Somewhere.
would drive up.
Right on.
And Bam would always be there, and he wasn't sponsored at that point. Bucky and I were, and we were instantaneously became thick as thieves.
Mhm.
And we'd practice for this one contest every year, which was the NSAs. They'd have in Bricktown, New Jersey.
Okay.
And either he would win or I'd win. And one year I didn't show up, and he was there, and he went to Bucky, and he's like, yo, Bucky, where's Novak? And Bucky's like, I think he's on heroin. And Bam, at such a young age, was like, well, what's that? Right? And not such a young age, like 12, 13. I was like 16, 17. But
That's pretty young
when
still.
you're consumed in like a nice, wholesome life that revolves around skateboarding and a good family, like you don't have conversations that consist of those words.
Yeah, sure.
So it was at that point that his career in skateboarding totally excelled and took off, and mine went to complete shit, and I chose to pursue a life of heroin and addiction. Fast forward some time later, I'm really sick one day. I can't come up with any money. But at this point, I wouldn't even acknowledge a skateboarder, right? It was like, it was the equivalent of like looking at the woman you like get away, the love of your life.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, if I just did a little, like, so it hurt me like that.
Yeah.
So I'd avoid skateboarding like the plague, but one day I was really sick and I couldn't come up with money. So I decided to go to this skate shop in Fells Point called Select. And I asked, when I get there to try to get some money, they're like, we're not going to give you money, but Bam was here yesterday with the Toy Machine team. And he asked if we ever saw you. We said no. And he said, well, if you do, give him my number. So he leaves his number. And a couple of days later, I call and it was the number to Fairman's skate shop in town.
Westchester.
Yeah. And I called Fairman's, right? Timing is everything in life. I call Fairman's. It's not even his skate. It's not his house. It's Fairman's. I'm a homeless heroin addict. I pump in some change into the fucking payphone, right? And this change is like my lifeline, right? So I got my finger on the thing. Like if it don't answer, I don't get
Yeah,
beat for the money. So I'm like, but Dave answers. He's like, yo, he was just here. He's next door at Kuma, which is the sushi restaurant in town. He's like, hold on, I'll go get him. So he goes and gets him, comes back, and then that night I'm on a Greyhound bus from Baltimore to Westchester. And he's like, yo, come live with me. You know, you can at this point he had done the CKYs and then Viva La Bam had just started, and he allowed me to be a guest on the show and started to get paid by Viacom and I could do all this shit. I just couldn't. I could have a credit card. I could live at his house rent free. I just wasn't allowed to do heroin.
Okay. There you go.
That was the stipulation.
No problem.
I was cool with like Coke and alcohol because that was like I wouldn't steal your shit when I wanted more Coke.
Yeah.
you know?
That makes sense.
So that was kind of how I like, and then throughout that process, Bam would always be like, yo, your stories are like the fun. He always loved the positions I ended up in as a direct result of my heroin addiction.
Yeah,
like letting gay men shave my asshole for rent money and fucking,
Sure.
you know, letting men blow me for more dope and just getting stabbed in the head with an ink pen and fucking like all this nonsense. So he's like, yo, you can live at the house. And now I'm starting to get appearances in Jackass. He's bringing me along and he kind of calls me like his walking television. But he then one night we would go to Kildare's after a rap. We'd rap for the day. Cass and the crew would go there. And humongous table of like 40 or 50 in a bar. And,
Yeah.
and he'd like, tell this story, tell that story. And you could literally hear a pin drop. And it was then that he's like, yo, you're going to write a book. Now, I had not graduated high school at this point. I had no GED. I had nothing. I had no part of ever wanting to write a book. He's like, you're going to write a book. He gives me a notebook and a pen. And he goes, you're to carry this around all the time. He's like, I don't give a fuck if I don't even see you writing in it. You have to have it in your hand. The first time I don't see it in your hand, you're going back to Baltimore.
Damn.
So like the scales of justice were very equal there, easy to weigh out. Homeless in Baltimore, letting men blow me for heroin, or carry this fucking notebook and pen around and write my story. and still be on a TV show, drive a car, credit card, paid by Viacom, blah blah blah.
And you were maintaining sobriety, like relative sobriety?
No,
Not even close.
So he would like. I never was allowed to do what I really wanted to do, which was opiates, whether it was like Percocets or heroin. That was very frowned upon, and he made it very known to everyone in Westchester and the people we worked with to not give me any.
Gotcha.
So people listened, and but nonetheless, and the second book that I wrote, Streets of Baltimore, really dives into this, the psychology of an addict or an alcoholic, because I knew that I'm being presented this golden ticket, right? I can become this household name, making money, I can live in this fucking mansion, drive a car, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I know that it's only a matter of time before the rug gets pulled out front of me. Like, because I can't stop getting high.
Yeah.
So he's cool with the coke and the alcohol and they don't really understand addiction at that point.
Sure, yeah.
But like inside of me, I can't wait to get back to Baltimore to fuck. So I'd tell him lies like I have to go back and get my favorite pair of jeans.
Yeah,
and I'd fucking go back and end up there for 3 weeks.
Damn.
And just lost in Baltimore shooting dope.
Jeez.
And so he'd kick me out. I'd go to rehab and a lot of wash, rinse, repeats of that.
Sure, yeah.
Later on, he then comes with this new idea. I'm going to write this book. I have no desire to write a book, but I had read a book called A Million Little Pieces by James Frey, a brilliant book, and I love the outline of that. So I'm no fool by any means, and I went and I just copied his outline, and I wrote a fucking 12 chapters, pen to paper, right? No laptop, anything. And my co-author is a man named Joe Franz, who made all the CKY videos, filmed the Viva La Bams and Jackass, and he did not want that job, but Bam was like, dude, you're going to do this. Because no one wanted to work with me. I was like, I was not a good fucking employee. Right? My behavior was rather erratic, to say the least. But he made him kind of do this. And then a year later, I'm like, yo, I think I'm finished. And Bam started reading. He's like, dude, this is really something. So then he gives it to Joe. Joe turns 12 chapters into 23. And we get a literary agent off of Bam's manager, finds me a literary agent, shops it around, and it gets fucking picked up. And it does like really, really well.
What was it? This is your first book, right?
The first book, Dream Seller.
Dream Seller. That's a nice title, too.
Which was fucking, I mean, it's what I did for a living, right? Like I'd make people believe the unbelievable. I'd build your hopes up to like make you believe that like it was going to be different this time. Just in hopes for you to believe in me enough for me to get some cash out of you. To only apologize and just to watch, rinse, repeat. And that's kind of what my life looked like for a long time. But that's how I ended up in all these places and doing all these things. That what I didn't know then that's really rad now is that's life. It's live forward and learn backwards. And I didn't see that I was kind of being tasked with this fucked up position of addiction or alcoholism to then be later on blessed with recovery and use the very same platform that I gained notoriety from as being just this fuck up drug addict alcoholic to being this guy that's like, yo, if you want help, like I will help you. I have all these avenues to like get you out of where I once was.
Yeah, can you put that into words? I'm always kind of fascinated by that when it's like, because it is obvious to anyone who's not on drugs, when you know someone who's on drugs, you're like, dude, if you just don't do drugs, you won't have as many problems. And they're like, I have to do them.
Sure.
It's like, what is like the thought? Is it even a thought process, or is it just like a genuine, just like urge?
At that point in time for me, I got to a place in life where any person, place, or thing that stood between me and a bag of heroin must and will go. And it was never personal. It was just business, right? Because I'm a good guy with a great heart, and I was raised by a loving mother who taught me to show kindness and compassion to humanity. But don't catch me when I'm withdrawing. You know what I mean? So it's like, so what, I own treatment centers today. I own sober living houses. I'm totally immersed in that world. And the truth of the matter is, we are amazing people that have been diagnosed with a deadly disease that makes us make terrible decisions. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
At least my story.
Yeah. So you're saying like, like the process of like, having, I guess, that urge versus like, like you said, in some way you kind of know like, yeah, this isn't going to go well.
So I remember,
but you just have to, I have to do it.
Prime example, we were kind of getting into it a little bit before we got on. I had just done a year in George W. Hill Correctional Facility, right? They let me out New Year's Eve. I'm living in Westchester, and I have an amazing fiance at the time who's now my ex because they continue to get between me and drugs. So they have to fucking go. And she's moved our home while I was incarcerated. She redecorated it, really tried to love my addiction out of me. And I wanted to be done with it. I really did. That night I was released, I called up one of my buddies who rode with the Pagans, who partied with us in Westchester. And he brought over some Percocet 30s and a couple Xanax. Now I had been sober for a year up to this point.
Yeah.
And I'm on parole. Like I know what the deal is if I fuck up. I find myself in Ryan's pub in Westchester because I live right down the street, and I told my chick, because she'd watch me like a canine. I'm like, I just have to go up here to say hi to whatever. And I go, and I'm in the pub, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and the toilet paper dispensary is to my right, and I crush up 2 Percocet 30s and a half of Xanax. And I have it in my billfold, and I'm about to put it in my nose and sniff it, and I'm literally crying. I uncontrollably crying. I can't stop crying because I know that as soon as I do this, I'm going to begin that behavioral pattern that takes me where I don't want to go and makes me do things I don't want to do, but I can't control myself.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
there's
that's a
no
good explanation
there's no
of it.
room for logic at that point.
Jesus, man.
And that's kind of what my day in, day out looked like for a long time.
Yeah, that's a good explanation of it. Because I know it's not like a thing with like words. It's just kind of like, you know, you also don't. And it's like, it's pretty fucking rugged, man.
I remember that night. I'm in the bathroom. I'm doing this, and I could hear people out in Ryan. You know where Ryan's is, and they're having a good time. They're waiting for the ball to drop. They're laughing. They're fucking playing. They're cheersing, and I'm in the stall just crying uncontrollably with a fucking rolled up bill up my nose, getting ready to sniff
Yeah.
everything I love away.
Oh.
And that's what addiction is
Yeah.
as a whole. But it didn't start that way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. How did you end up starting to do heroin? Because that was like a big jump from like skating.
Yeah.
And just like, was it the pills first?
It was
or-
the fucking hallmark progression, you know, the
yeah, the
alcohol,
perks and
the
all
weed,
shit.
stealing
Yeah.
the herb from the dad, and
Yeah.
then the blow because he sold a lot of blow. And
Yeah.
things just progressively got worse, but mine was genetic. So, you know, I have a mother who was a nuclear physicist. I have a brother who is an attorney who works in the White House.
It's awesome.
I have a sister who works in the hospital my mother ran, but they are by a different father. I'm the only one by my father.
Gotcha.
He was an addict and his father was an addict.
Yeah.
So I believe I was fucked from the gate.
Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
the thing now is that like, it's like, you know, my poison has become my medicine, and like it's turned out to be the biggest blessing that's ever happened in my life.
Yeah, that is the thing. With I feel like addiction, it is like it's almost like a weird spiritual practice if you think about it. You just kind of like, rather than like meditating, you're just getting so fucking high all the time.
Totally.
And your life just collapses. And then now you have to really kind of, it gives people, I think, a deeper appreciation for life.
I
If they make it through. That's my,
For sure.
my
And that's the
understanding.
thing, right? Because
Yeah.
here's the reality, and this is why people are so just like frustrated with battling the disease of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Statistics state, theoretical evidence dictates that I or anyone else that is sober are to be high or dead, right? Like the data collected, the analytics
Mm-hmm.
fucking from all over these studies that are given states that the majority of people die as opposed to find sobriety.
Yeah.
And I remember getting out of my last facility, and you know, Bam was always a constant theme throughout my life. And I stopped over and I saw him, and he's like, "What the fuck? What was different about number 13 treatment center? Why not 12 or 10 or 6 or 4 or 3?" He's like, "What did you have, like a meeting with God or something?" And I didn't say it to him because it's just too much for one to grasp. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I kind of did.
Really? So and that's what I've heard before. Wasn't that how what AA was founded on? The guy Bill
Bill and Bob,
went to like
yeah.
Carl Jung, and he was like, "Bro, either find God or you're toast."
Yeah.
In a way.
So you know, I'm not religious. I don't particularly care for organized religion.
Sure.
But I'm insanely spiritual, and it's like, where's my spirituality if I judge your spirituality? So like acceptance is the answer to all in world.
For sure.
But I didn't understand that. See, the truth of the matter is, and this is a blanket statement that I'll make for anyone that's in addiction or in recovery, is that we didn't get here because we took the short bus to school. Quite the contrary. We end up here because we're too smart for our own fucking good. And then I land in a seat of a 12-step meeting or a treatment center that literally has the ability to save my life, and I fuck around and outthink myself right out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because recovery is one of those weird things that works so well, people stop fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's such a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Right? So what I didn't know is that like the last thing I tried was the first thing that worked, right? Because I was just too smart for my own good, and I wasn't quite willing to buy into the process. It worked great for you guys, but I'm a bit different.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's everyone I've known. Everyone's
Totally.
like, I'm not one of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end, when I was optionless, literally I was homeless, I was moneyless, I was friendless, I was carless, loveless, just that was me. I had no other choice but to buy into the process. I didn't want to do it then. I begrudgingly did it, but like, fuck it. I have the time, and no one's expecting or requesting my fucking presence, so let's
Sure.
run it. And the craziest thing happened is it started to work. I experienced the 12 steps, and what happened throughout the 12 steps is I had a spiritual experience. And the definition of a spiritual experience is simply a psychic change, meaning that I, Brandon Novak, today no longer look at things the way I did then.
Do you remember what kind of kicked that off exactly, or was it just kind of
Pain.
Yeah.
Pain. I had to end up in a place where the pain was so fucking unbearable, right? Like to where my back was against the wall and I had nothing else to do to get myself out of the position that I had created for myself.
How long did that take? How long did that take of like doing heroin?
Well, my overall resume with alcoholism and addiction was 22 years.
Okay, wow.
So, but that, the last 10 were really bad.
Yeah. What did that look like in terms of like you're saying like the personal pain? Was it like obviously like there's probably physical discomfort and all that stuff, but like just like alienation from everyone you've ever known? Were you like kind of like kicking yourself over like how much better things could have went? Like what was like the real primer?
All of the above. But what I didn't know then that I know now is that each one of my attempts at trying to find recovery were not failures. Despite me thinking they were, because like I would use in treatment, I'd get kicked out, I'd leave, I'd use the same day. And as any blessing happens to anyone, it happens unbeknownst to us, right? Like if I knew when and where a blessing was taking place and I was to report there to receive said blessing, I'd fuck that up, right? So like I had to be put in this place where these seeds were being planted unbeknownst to me. And then finally, on that day where the appropriate amount of pain was created, where it became so unbearable that I was finally willing to do what I had never been willing to do, which is become open-minded just long enough to pick that phone up, ask for help, and then the craziest thing ever, but fucking follow through with it. I started to see that like none of this was what I thought a failure. Like it all played its part when it was supposed to, so that finally when the opportunity met the appropriate time, an event was going to take place that was going to create this outcome unlike anything that I could wrap my feeble mind around. And I saw on my way into that last treatment center, like it's like the skies parted and I walked across the sea and everything they said made sense, and just like it hit me, and I knew that like I get it. It makes sense now.
Yeah,
it all makes sense. And
so you knew even just heading while on the way there, you're like just something flipped.
Because they would be like, dude, I own facilities now, and my favorite thing is to run groups with my clients, and I can't get enough of that. And I'm like, who in here thinks that you're in here because of drugs and alcohol? And the majority of them raise their hands, and I'm like, you're all fucking wrong. That's not why we're here. The drug and the alcohol is not the problem. So right out of the gate, no wonder you keep repeating your behaviors, because you're fighting the wrong fucking opponent. You're in the wrong ring. You're going to lose every time.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is the thinking and the attitude and the behavior. Right? So as long as I continue to repeat the behaviors, I'm going to repeat the outcomes where I end up in a place where the only answer is a shot of heroin or a glass of wine.
Yeah.
So once I realized the alcohol is the solution, not the problem, I've now identified, right, who my opponent is. It's my behaviors. So I had to change my behaviors to change the outcomes. I started to then gain a better understanding of the reality of my situation. And what I learned is the reason why I got beat so bad is because A, I always underestimated the opponent that I was up against because I was the great I am. And B, I never gave it the time, attention, or respect it deserved.
Yeah, and you're talking, when you say that, you mean like yourself basically, or like, because it sounds to me like it's like you were saying, like, yeah, fucking heroin, fucking keep making me fucking do it. When in reality, it is like it's yourself, and nobody, even without drugs, nobody wants to admit that like they're a complete problem.
Exactly, and again, this isn't just. Substitute the word drugs for whether your things porn, sex, food, shopping, gambling, fighting, fucking, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? These are the solutions to the problem. And you were talking about it during COVID, right? Prior to COVID, you'd walk around with all these narratives of these people. And then all of a sudden in COVID, and it made me think of it, we were kind of forced to be with ourselves, by ourselves, to look at ourselves, which is what we avoid by fucking fighting, betting, shopping. You know what I mean? And then I start to look at me, which is why I got high for so long, right? To escape the shitty reality I created for myself as a direct result of continuing to shoot dope. And then finally, when I got to a place where I could start looking at me, I realized that I'm the problem. Right?
Yeah.
There is no their part. And the longer I think that there is a their part as to why I'm this way, I'm just the victim. So now I'm going to drink because of my shitty life. And you would too if you had a life like mine. I'll justify why. Right? The brain is the fucking problem in every area of life.
Yeah, dude. It does. It can fuck you up, man. It can really fuck you up. You can do anything and just be like, get something in your head like, oh, I'm not good enough. And you can
Totally. And then it
completely
just
spin out.
snowballs.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
It's insane. But if you're aware of it, then it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, true.
And now, like, the longer I stay sober, the more work that I do, it's amazing. What I do know is that I don't fucking know. And I don't take credit for any of this.
Yeah, how long have you been sober for?
Coming up on 10 years.
Oh, nice. It's been a while.
Yeah. And now all I do, I dumb my way into this shit.
Yeah.
And now I always say I came into like sobriety as a king and I worked my way up the ladder to become a humble servant. And the more people I help, the more I give away, the better my life is, the more I gain in return, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like in any business transaction, if I give you something I have, I'm to walk away with less. In this weird, magical, spiritual world of recovery, anything that I give you, I'm walking away with more.
Yeah, dude, that I remember that was like a weird shock for me when I went to school for social work for a while, a couple years ago. And I would get like inmates housing. That was like a thing I did for like one of the field placements. And then there was this one guy who was a fucking pain in my ass. He'd always like call me and just be like, "You're not doing shit." Blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
He was under the gun because they were going to take his kid, a bunch of shit if he didn't find appropriate housing. And I remember the day I found him a house, we're both in this place, and I called him up. I was like, "Yo, dude, we got it." And we both were so happy. And I was like, that was such a funny, for something so dumb. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a house, but I remember like I won this like comedy contest, and I was like, this is it. And then I got the guy a house, and it was literally the same feeling.
Again,
it was the same exact feeling of like
timing and opportunity meeting to create a beautiful outcome.
But it is a weird thing. That was like a weird thing for me when I was like, oh, you can get just as happy for doing nice things for people as you can, like, achieving some sort of personal victory.
Any monetary fucking victory.
Exactly. And it's like, it is honestly, I would argue that like when you do something like awesome for a person, I think it feels better than if you just like kill it in some way with like a sales thing.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. No matter how much, for me, what I did for the majority of my life is I just like rearranged the furniture on the Titanic, right? For years, and I swore that this way was going to be the proper placement to make sure my ship doesn't sink. And I would always do that. And then I learned that like, it is what it is, right? Stop overcomplicating a simple process. And because the world kept right-sizing me. And I just I took me out of the equation. I thought less and just did more because I surrounded myself with like, people who genuinely were also really good people that were just trying to make humanity a little bit better today than it was yesterday.
Yeah, that is a nice thing. And it's one of those things too. It's one of those things I think people sneer at. They're like, oh, making the world better. It's like, well,
sure.
What the fuck else are you going to do, dude?
Yeah,
Just be a dickhead all the time. But it's like, I feel bad for, personally, it's like, so you have, people, they go through, drug addiction. There's like this whole thing. It's like, everyone, when, I would imagine you're a drug addict, there's like a part of it, like everyone knows I'm an addict. People are talking shit on me, everyone, blah, blah, blah. But then almost like you reach a point where you're like, I don't give a fuck. And that's like a very freeing experience eventually. Whereas there's people who don't ever, fall into a deep drug addiction, but they never get to really face their own like self-defeating mental patterns. And in a way, it's almost like the person, in my opinion, who goes through addiction and gets out of that ends up having, I think, a richer existence than if you never really have to face that or come like face to face with yourself and like really look at yourself. Because there's people who get 100%. Through life good on, on paper, but it's like, they're tortured.
Absolutely.
And it's like, I was like a shame.
I couldn't agree with that sentiment anymore. That's a spot on fucking example.
Because everyone I know who's in recovery is like, they're very open. There's like and I almost like you can tell. It's like, okay, this person really has turned a corner because it's like something switches and it's like nobody really knows exactly what that is, but it really is the most consistent factor is having some sort of spiritual experience or like like an awakening experience.
Studies show that people that do the studies show that sober people that do what other sober people do in order to stay sober have better odds of staying sober. So like there's not a black and white one size fits all. You can try another method or another avenue that could equate to the same result. But I got to a point where the stakes were way too high and I was tired of rolling the dice and I kind of wanted to start working smarter, not harder. So I just bought into what the group does in order to stay sober. But the funny thing was, and you said it, it's all a thinking problem, right? And I always have this alcoholic brain that lies to me, my own voice. And it always makes me believe the unbelievable. Yeah, and it creates these delusional narratives. And I walked around for years thinking that no one in this world knew that I had a problem but me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I thought that I was kind of keeping it contained just enough to continue to enable my behaviors, which is getting high and justifying the outcomes.
So that's crazy. You really didn't think people were like hip to you at all.
Not nearly as much. So I didn't, right? I thought that no one in the world knew that I had a problem but me. And then when I finally bought into the process, what I learned is that everyone in the world knew that I had a problem but me.
Yeah, that's
right. I was the last person. Why? Because I possessed that job that consists of knowing everything.
That's really funny.
And I'm like, fuck. Right. And,
That's so funny.
and that's what I again, right. I was ignorant to the process and the reality of my alcoholism because I lived off of justification and minimization and deflection. Right. If only, she didn't come home from work early, she wouldn't have found my needles on the table.
Yeah.
If only the parole officer's fucking husband would have banged her out, she would have been mad and gave me a piss test that fucking got me dirty and sentenced me to 6 months.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all this
It's
nonsense.
always other people's fault. Yeah.
So finally, the craziest thing happened. I started to take accountability for my actions and started pointing the finger inward and realizing that, whoa, like it's me and my behaviors. And I started changing my behaviors. And I started changing the outcomes. And I started to like the results I got. So it snowball affected into this.
Yeah. It's just crossing that like threshold to even consider the possibility.
It was so simple, though. I missed it.
Yeah.
I overlooked it.
Yeah, dude, I think most people go their whole life without ever saying it. But
Dude, everyone says, what's the answer? What's the answer? What's the answer? If any of us had the answer, we would bottle that thing, we'd sell it, we'd be a billionaire a billion times over.
True.
I believe it's so simple as just helping one fucking person. Someone took the time to stop and help me. I, in turn, helped another. 2 turned into 4, 4 turned into 8, 8 turned into 16. Before you know it, you're changing the narrative, which is ultimately changing the outcome. It's so simple. Just slow down the process and help one person.
Pardon the interruption. This may or may not be Sean Gardini speaking, and this may or may not be Sean Gardini on camera. Who is speaking and who is on camera is not important. I've come to tell you that Sean Gardini is doing stand-up comedy shows. The upcoming shows are in Cleveland, Ohio, December 8th, Buffalo, New York, December 10th, and Baltimore, Maryland, December 11th. Please come to those shows if you can. The tickets are at SeanGardini.com. Thank you.
Hear me out here. I failed to promote my shows in the Irvine Improv, SoCal. I'm so fucking SoCal. I forgot to do the ads or make a flyer for the Irvine show. Oops, my bad. It's next weekend. Thanksgiving weekend, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th, 2 days, faux shows. Come out to motherfucking Irvine Improv. And I'll be honest, I'm not just saying this because I'm doing a show. I love Irvine. Irvine was the first place I went to in California. And I was telling someone recently, I'm like, I fucking love Irvine. And they lived in LA. And like, are you kidding? Are you trying to be funny? I'm like, no, why? And apparently everyone from LA just snubs Irvine. Like, I would never. Fuck you guys, dude. Irvine rules. LA's fucking bullshit. Irvine, we're talking Laguna Beach, we're talking motherfucking Newport Beach, conservative ass stronghold down there in SoCal, dude. Shit. Come out. I love Irvine. It's literally the first place I went to in California. I'm very excited to go there. I'm going to bring my whole motherfucking family. We're all going to do Thanksgiving out there. It's going to be sick. So Irvine Improv, Friday, November 29th, Saturday, November 30th. Let's go. Let's show these LA fucking pussies, dude, who's really fucking SoCal. They're not fucking SoCal. They're north of Irvine, bro.
yeah, so how did you get into the recovery homes? When did you start that? And like, what was that like?
I had my get well job was washing dishes for $6 an hour in Levittown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice.
At a diner called Mary Ann's. At 38 years old, I'm busting suds in the back with a coworker who's fucking 14. My brain told me that, and this is after skating, jackass, fucking author.
Yeah.
My brain told me I should have at the very least been the president of the United States. And I'm fucking busting suds with Brian here for $6 an hour.
Yeah, what was that like?
Struggling. I had heard the word humility and it sounded fucking cool and it rolled off the tongue right, but try swallowing that fucking thing.
I'm 38 right now, dude. If I had to bust the
Imagine
suds.
fucking you leaving here and going back to Levittown, Pennsylvania to Mary Ann's Diner. Shout out to Rich and they were great guys. And the owners and busting suds for $6 an hour. Next to a 14-year-old.
How long did you do that for?
1 year.
That's long. That's
And
a decent time.
I had no idea what my next move was going to be. Right?
Yeah.
Because my qualifications didn't state that I had any special qualities.
I know what you mean. You can't be like, yo, let me hop on a TV show real quick.
Yeah.
Get
Or
the
like,
fuck
let me
out.
fucking, I don't own a computer. I skipped that whole, I went from skating to heroin. I wrote my book, pen and paper. I can pawn laptops great. I don't use them. Even to this day, I don't email. I got my first ever computer during COVID. I used it 7 times and gave it the fuck away.
Really?
Yeah.
So are you on like, do you fuck with like the Instagram and all that
Yeah,
stuff? Okay,
I
so you
like
do
that. But
Gotcha.
like the thought of an app gives me anxiety.
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
Right? And I'm just like stubborn by nature. So
So you're busting the suds for a while. Then
Yeah.
how did you get into the recovery
but I
space?
started like that job that I thought was so fucking beneath me turned out to be the foundation of who I am today. And I think by social standards and regards, I could be considered a pretty successful guy. I have all these different businesses and properties and blah, blah, blah. But it all came from washing dishes. I started to like show up early. I'd stay late. I took pride in washing these dishes. I called out one day in a whole year because of a snowstorm. Like those behaviors started to change. And my outcome started to change. I started to become self-sufficient. For the first time in life, I was paying my own recovery house bill, $165 a week. I was buying my own groceries, my own cigarettes, not relying or depending on anyone.
Yeah.
I stopped like, and then what happened was someone asked me to speak at a candlelight vigil. A candlelight vigil for someone who had passed away, and because the 12-step program, AA, it's anonymous, so you don't know really what's going on there. But when I spoke at that candlelit vigil for people who had lost their lives, someone like had filmed it, and it started making its rounds on social media. And then an organization reached out to me, and they're like, "Would you like to come speak at our facility in Florida?" And I'm like, "Sure." And they put me up at the W in Fort Lauderdale in the penthouse, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Are they gonna like ask me for a donation?" I wash dishes, and they had come up with this whole design. Right, again, the blessings taking place unbeknownst to me. If I knew any of this was gonna happen, I'd fuck it up royally.
Sure, yeah.
And they had put together this whole plan, and presented it to me, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even know this world existed that I live in today. And it just kind of gave way, and I bought into what they would say, and in those meetings they'd say like, in order to keep what you have to give it away. And
Sure, yeah.
this is cliche as shit. And I vowed to myself that when I was in a position financially, I was going to recreate that sober living house I lived in.
That's cool.
And do for others what it had done for me. So literally on my 5th year anniversary, I opened up in Wilmington, Delaware, my very first men's sober living house called Novak's House with 10 beds. And that has since turned into 7 houses for men and women in Wilmington, Delaware with 75 beds. And I fucking travel the world, and I have generous friends or just strangers that want to give back, and they occasionally stroke a check, and they provide money that I have in this scholarship fund. And my mission is to provide a bed for anyone in need of sober living after completing a treatment center. I refuse to let price be a deterrent as to why someone can't get help. And then, unfortunately, the demand was met. I kept fucking expanding, and I really wished that wasn't the case, and these didn't even exist.
Sure.
And I'm like, dude, I can help more, and I can be better. So then I created Redemption Addiction Treatment Center in Wilmington, Delaware. Well, in Newport.
Okay, yeah, that's
right next to it.
Down there, yeah.
And it's an outpatient facility where people come during the day, 5 days a week, or nighttime groups. And I always tell people I'm on par to create like a David Koresh Waco, Texas compound vibe, minus the gun and the fucking religion.
Yeah.
But I want to create this place where people feel like they want to be a part, right? It's all deliverance. Like I started this podcast. It's all with how you present something to me, right? So what I try to do is to create this whole fucking environment that people want to be a part at, as opposed to feeling like they have to.
Yeah, what was your? Did you have any like when you went to any treatment centers? Did you have ones that you felt like? Cause you hear some people like, that place is a fucking scam. They're just fucking taking my money. Like, did you have any places you thought were just like churning people in and out, or do you think that's just people's like perception of the place?
I think it's just opinion based. I think it's people's perception. The treatment center that I ultimately got sober in, people would be like, you'll never get sober there. It cost me $2 to get into. It was a Catholic Charities program in Baltimore. And if you looked out, you weren't allowed to look out the blinds, because if you looked out, they were literally serving dope and coke and crack on the corner. It was like a bottom of the barrel kind of joint.
Yeah.
But I believe it takes what it takes until it takes. And who are you or I to say what it will be for it to take?
That makes sense.
It's between you and the maker of whatever you choose to fucking call it. Because it's not like once you get to this appropriate program, they give you this secret pill for the cool kids. It's fucking recycled rhetoric that you hear in all the facilities.
Yeah,
it's like, fuck.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I believe the perfect treatment center is whichever one you get sober in.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a say. I didn't get to pick my sober date.
True.
Again, that was a blessing.
Yeah, like they gave you the right massage.
Yeah,
and the place was
finally
chill.
they fucking gave me a happy ending with a massage, and they played my favorite song.
That might turn me around.
And I come God, and here we are. I'm the spiritual fucking guru. Fuck your way into recovery. That's
You're right.
not the deal.
Yeah, true.
I wish.
There is a very unsexy element to it where you're saying like, yeah, you can be in like a place that people think sucks really
Straight
badly.
up.
It really is a wholly internal process.
I'm a firm believer you can get sober in a fucking pub sitting on a bar stool with a bottle of Jack in front of you if you're ready.
Yeah,
Straight up.
What do you think about like the California sobriety people do, where it's like I'm California sober, I'll like drink and smoke weed and shit, and like,
Dude, I did this TMZ thing. They did a special recently of Matthew Perry.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I read his book. Brilliant book, by the way. Whole newfound respect for that man. Rest in peace to him. But they were doing this hour-long documentary, Harvey and them, and they reached out and they wanted me to weigh in on it. And they asked me the same question. And the truth of the matter is, I'd be really ignorant if I sat here and pretended to possess the answer of like how to live a perfect life with coming up on 10 years sober. That's like, my mother'd be like, fuck you, asshole. You should have did it your whole life, you idiot.
Yeah.
So like, all I know is my narrative because it worked for me. I'm never going to tell anybody what you should or should not do. I believe with California Sober, with MAT, Suboxone, Subutex, Vivitrol, Methadone, if it provides you a life that you believe is worth waking up and getting out of bed for every morning without the thought of wanting to kill yourself, I'll fucking drive you to the dispensary. Who, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure,
fuck
yeah.
me for thinking that I have the answer.
Yeah,
I just have my narrative. So what I always say is that when I'm kind of giving a talk or working with clients, if you can find more similarities than differences, it might make sense to pay attention.
Yeah.
But if not, that's cool too.
yeah,
Right? Because everyone at the end of the day, you're entitled to your own process. You were entitled to have that realization during COVID of like being a fucking asshole to strangers that did nothing to you.
Sure.
And if I would have robbed you of that process, you might not have come to the conclusion that you have today where just being kind is the right way.
yeah,
So looking back, if anyone would have robbed me of one less fucking sleepless night I caused my mother or pain that I made everyone endure, like I might not be here today.
yeah. That makes sense.
So
Yeah,
it's-
it's kind of a personal
Yeah.
timeline for everybody.
For sure. And it's like, and I'm not saying that my way is the right way. It's just my fucking way.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I know that's a big battle. When I was in social work school, there's like people who are like, it's called like harm reduction
Sure.
versus people who are like, nothing, you better knock all that
I'm a
shit
big
the fuck
harm
off.
reduction guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's like, who the fuck, like, that's between them and their higher power.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, I believe I'm God and I can predict what your fucking best outcome will be for your life and your situation. Fuck.
Yeah, true. You
It's,
know,
and I'm a spiritual guy, and if I'm a spiritual guy like I say I am, where's my spirituality if I judge your spirituality?
yeah.
Right? So, like, I believe my higher power is everything. I think it's crack. I think it's heroin. I think it's life, death. It's like, what's love without sadness? What's joy without sorrow? Right? You have to have all these, without those fucking overdoses, without life support, without fucking ruining my life, I would not be the child of, I hate to say God because people are like, oh, this religious fuck, but a child of God today who I really like do my best to help humanity. I wouldn't be here. I'd still be in that position of like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You think you have it figured out, you fucking idiot? You deserve what you get.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where I'd probably be.
Yeah, well, it is funny. People, I've talked about this before, but it is funny how that is like the God talk's taboo now. Before
Totally.
it was like you couldn't talk about sex. Now you can be like, I'm fucking jizzing, and everyone's like, but if you're like,
Yeah, the whole Me Too movement at that point.
true,
Yeah.
that. But if you mention God, people are like, what the fuck?
Totally.
And it's like a pretty wholesome, I think it's a very wholesome concept. But it got tainted by I think people just being like the religion aspect of being like, you're going to hell because you fucking came.
For
in.
sure.
It's like that.
And that's a shame. But
Sucks.
but you need those people, right? Those people are just as important as the other ones that aren't those people to make me realize how much I don't want to be like that. Because
Yeah.
without those people, I'll turn into that person.
Yeah.
Because I don't have like a warning sign or like like who I don't. I need the bad to remind me what I don't want to become. So I practice good.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's gonna like, because every even like religions, like concepts of God, like go through waves where it's like we used to think it was like fucking fire, and now we are like there was like the mythological hero of like there's these entities in the sky that we can like be like, hey, please help us. That'll like change everything, and then like that like around like an organized like testament of like this is the guy who came down from heaven and Amnita. So now I wonder if it is going to regroup in like some different conception that people will universally buy into, or if it'll just be like a fractured thing forever.
The older I get at 45, I see that things just evolve, but then just come back around.
Yeah,
Like, I was looking on the plane the other day, and there's this chick who has, as you see, these new things are like the big headphones.
Apple Pros.
Where like your mom used to have it back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And no one's doing the AirPods
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like Miami Vice, like fucking color schemes and chicks wearing baggy ass jeans have now come back.
I know,
So
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
kinda weird.
just live long enough and you'll realize that like shit's not that heavy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be okay. And the fact of the matter is you don't really have much say so in any of it anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, that's what I do. And I just kind of remain like, I don't know what I remain. It just depends on when you ask me.
No, that's true. So, and then, I'm curious too. So
Yeah.
you were doing the Viva La Bam stuff and all that stuff fell out. like what happened with all of like all the people from Jackass? You guys all still talk, or like where did like was there like a big falling out, or like what happened?
Nah, I mean everyone's good. I was just with Steve-O in LA a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's kind of doing his thing.
He's killing it. Pontius, I love him. I speak with him, and those two guys I probably speak to more regularly than the most. Bam is battling his own demons, and unfortunately because of that, we seem to be in two different places where there's just not a lot in common at the moment.
For sure,
so
yeah.
we don't really just pick up the phone and chat. I think if I had to make a prediction of what would kind of connect us again, it would probably be skateboarding.
That's cool.
That's always been the common bond and theme throughout our relationship.
Do you still skateboard?
Yeah, but
Nice.
for my mental health now, obviously
Really?
not like is like
Yeah, you just do it for fun.
yeah. I try
That's
to
cool.
carve out time to like just get in a van and go with the homies and film and just like shut everything off.
That's kind of tight.
And other like Brandon Turner, shout out to Brandon Turner. He's on the West Coast, fucking killing it. He's a sober guy. A lot of skaters have become sober and they're kind of doing their own thing with recovery. And I was talking to him yesterday and we're gonna fly out. I'm gonna fly out there. Kind of we're working on a project together possibly and. You know, so oddly enough, the ones that we used to party and run with and fucking go crazy with have now found like this new way of life. It's really attractive, and we join forces to just kind of hopefully promote a healthy way of living.
Yeah, it is funny, especially if you think about the origins of like Jackass was like the possibly unhealthiest, most insane way of living
Yeah.
possible, and it was so fucking fun to watch. It was awesome, but it is funny to come full circle and be like now we've all actually chilled out immensely. And
Dude, Steve-O is like so fucking sober. There was a point in time where I thought about asking him to be my sponsor, and I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to get like that sober. Yeah, like he's like a shout out to him, but he's like someone that motivates me. But he's like, you know what I mean? He's authentically like what you see is what you get, and who he is who he is, and it does not waver no matter where or what he's doing. It's brilliant.
yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And it's also one of those things like, sobriety, again, if you're just kind of kicking around, you're going out to get drinks every Sunday, you don't necessarily have, like let's say like a problem quote.
Yeah.
It is one of those things that I think when you're, drinking a lot or like partying, it's like, it's almost seems alien. But it like, if you really like strip it down from like, take substances out of it, I always thought it's a really like it's cool for a person to be able to remain with their thoughts in their own state of consciousness rather than, you constantly escape it. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get stoned, all right, I'm gonna get that. And you're constantly jumping out. But I think it is a serious like sign of mental strength to like, people do like sober October, which that must be kind of funny when like the whole world's like, we're gonna be sober for 1 month. And you're like, all right.
But I've seen me do that. So like, fuck yeah, I'm all about it.
True. But it's gotta be funny with like 10 years. Like, oh, I'm glad you're having fun.
For sure.
There is something I think that is like, especially the older you get, it's like, it does take mental strength to like sit with yourself, not being able to kind of leave your consciousness like a little bit by, doing like, oh, I want to get a little high, I want to do this, blah, blah, blah.
Totally.
And I think it's like, it's a genuine virtue that I think gets skipped over. People are kind of like, yeah, dude, fuck, I'm going to have a couple of beers. Fuck that. Like people kind of dismiss it a lot, especially when you're drinking. But I always thought it was like it's hard to do. It's like, it's very hard to do. And it takes like, when you can't kind of jump out of yourself for a little bit, it forces you to work through, the kind of, whatever, broken gears in your head.
I make a point to let people know that in my programs, right? Because the people that I'm working with, they're coming in, they have a week, they have 2 weeks, they have 4 days, they have 1 day, and they're sitting in there and they're feeling like they're not enough. They could be doing more. They should be further along. And I'm like, look, what you're doing, the majority of society is not. Who wants to strip away their escape routes to be forced to look at themselves, right? With themselves, by themselves, without having any drink or drug to escape the terrible reality that you've created as a result of your addiction and man up and fucking walk through it. I'm like, I will walk with you people. You people are the ones that I want on my team right now. Like at fucking over 10 years and you are the people that I fuck with, right? Like, and there's a lot to be said with that because I don't just give my time to anybody.
Sure, yeah.
So it's like, I really make it a point because I know in early sobriety, it's like those week, 5 days, 30 days, 60 days. It's like of sobriety. It's like a bipolar roller coaster ride from hell.
Yeah, I can
right? You can be above heaven high. The wind can blow wrong. You're like below hell low, trying to figure what the fuck just happened. So it's important to give people the credit of it takes a lot of work to end up in that position for fucking 2 days sober.
Yeah.
It's and I always say it takes so much longer to get 2 days sober than it will to get 2 years sober.
Yeah.
Because you're just sitting there looking at the clock and you're like,
yeah,
should I not? Can I not? Should I say fuck it and just do it? Should I not do it? You're still consumed with the actual drink or drug. You're just not partaking at that moment.
Yeah.
And to make it through that, to address all these ailments and start to look at you without an escape, that's fucking big boy shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
And
It's
most
fucking-
people don't do it.
Yeah, I know.
And that's okay. I need those
Sure.
people that don't do it to show me why I really need to keep doing it.
For sure, yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
all perspective because they told me at treatment if I changed my perception, I could change my world.
Yeah.
And I bought into that shit.
Mhm.
You know, and believe it or not, they were fucking right.
Yeah. No, it's pretty sick, man. I'm
Yeah.
happy for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like I'm stoked, I'm grateful, but who really is like my mother, my friends, my employees, the police,
Yeah.
the probation, the parole officers, the judges.
Yeah.
Life has become a better place to be in with my sobriety, not only for me but for other people.
Yeah, and I always like you were saying, the service thing's big because especially when you're like, if you're in even with with or without drugs, if you're just like living a negative existence,
Sure.
you're usually convinced like in order to conquer my own negative existence, I have to achieve at some level that just somehow like shuts all this down and people will realize and they'll like me. Whereas like in recovery, it's like, or you can just like help people.
Yeah,
And it gets the same thing. Like if you're like lonely, it's like, well, rather than trying to be the man, just go volunteer.
yeah,
And you'll get that. Like it's like a quick route into kind of like a nice social existence. And everyone is just like, no, I have to conquer the world.
yeah. It's
like,
too
no,
easy. It's too simple.
Exactly. It's really fun. I always thought it was kind of funny.
It's like it's a simple fucking approach for an overcomplicated thinker.
Yeah,
And that's why I say smart people generally have a hard time getting it.
yeah.
I had to dumb my way into this position.
Mm.
And that was through me being beaten into a state of reasonableness as a direct result of my behaviors. But it doesn't have to get that way, right? Like one of my business partners, I met him in treatment. It was his first attempt ever at getting sober. And he's remained sober.
Really? He
You
just
know?
was like, fucking up.
So it's like, and that's the frustrating thing. Most people are like, well, why can't my level get it at number 1? Why does he have to get to 13 like you? There's no black and white. It's such an individualized process. And if you look at the statistics, it's very sad because it states that you're not going to win. But
Yeah, that's-
I'm here to fucking say, like,
You
fuck
can.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not only am I going to win, I'm going to fucking kill it. I'm going to own it, and it's going to turn into be my biggest blessing.
yeah.
And if I can do it, so the fuck can you. There's
Mhm.
nothing different between us except for what I was willing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
and I'm sure that's got to be like, it's really rewarding too. Like you were saying, having the groups and just, like, seeing like even a couple people kind of take off. Because I guess if you really look at the recovery homes, it's like, if this doesn't work for me, this whole place is bullshit. Or it'd be like, dude,
For sure.
Yeah, someone's got to do something. 'Cause what is it? Is like the opiate with overdoses going down? Are they still going up? Or like,
I'm not a big stats guy. I don't
Mhm.
look at numbers. I just kind of fucking remain ignorant to it and live in my own world.
yeah.
Which
Well, you
is
don't
great,
hear about
but
it as much anymore. It like dominated everything for a while.
After COVID, alcohol became a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of alcoholics in my facility now.
Gotcha.
And then meth's making a pretty big.
Yeah, meth made
Big
a
push.
wow comeback.
A lot of
Or-
people got off heroin or fentanyl with meth.
Yeah.
You know?
I've known people who have like off the heroin, meth comes into the picture, and they're like, "Damn, I'm actually super productive." And then it's
And
just
then
like,
I do I work with the DEA. I'm like a keynote speaker for the DEA at these summits that they have all
Mhm.
over the nation. And I was just doing an event with them in St. Louis, and they were like, "Yeah, cocaine's making a big comeback. We're fucking busting down big shipments of cocaine."
mhm.
So kind of like how I said Miami Vice was cool
It
again.
all
Like
comes
crack
around.
could be cool again soon with like the
Very well.
80s. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Like that's usually how the world works.
Do you think they should legalize drugs? Do you think that'd be easier to help people, or do you think it would make things worse?
I think so. You know, I don't know about legalizing it, but I do believe in like safe injection sites.
Mm-hmm.
And Philly was going to be the first place to do that.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down at the midnight hour. And their fear was that like it could trigger others in the community to want to get high. And maybe that's the case, but for me, I would never walk past a safe injection site and be like, I think I want to go in there and shoot up heroin.
Yeah, I don't think it would. I think they did this in London or Britain, whatever,
Yeah,
years
and
ago. And
I believe
worked.
it works in Sweden. I think maybe.
Yeah.
And what I think would be beautiful about it is you use it as a portal, right? It's a major harm reduction approach. They give you clean needles, clean water, clean cotton,
And they test obviously
and
the drugs.
and then they test the drugs. And the majority of the people that are in there don't really want to be in there anymore.
That's kind of what
It's lost its allure.
Exactly. You're under you're in like a doctor's bench.
Yeah,
now,
you're
right?
being fucking monitored as you shoot up with some weird guy to make sure you don't die and to inject you with Narcan. So at the very least, when you do say you're ready, bam, we have avenues to get you.
Yeah.
But now check this out. Me being a major advocate for that, right? I own where I live in Old City, right, in Philly, and a really nice place. And someone said to me, they said, "Well, would you want it next to your house?" And I'm like,
No.
yeah, because it fucked my property value up, right? And I'm just being transparent and
For
open.
sure,
and like,
for sure.
So there's two sides to every fucking coin.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, then again with that you're gonna have people like popping door handles
Yeah.
and all this shit. And it's like, yeah, because you're like,
straight up.
not
So
here.
I really just try to remain like Switzerland in a lot of fucking plays.
That makes
just
sense, yeah.
neutral and
Yeah.
and adapt accordingly.
At least you're honest, because I heard people be like, I wouldn't care, and it's like,
Yeah,
you sure?
yeah. And, that's just the truth of the matter. Now, not saying that like, if the opportunity presented itself and they were going to do it, I would still back it. But in my mind, I'm like, but couldn't you just go a neighborhood over? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't vote no on it. Let's put it that way. I would not vote no on it, but I would definitely vote for it to be in the next neighborhood over.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Everybody would.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. It's such a individualized thing. I don't know what the approach is except for just taking the time to help one person.
Yeah.
That's it. One person.
True.
And that one person who helped me. Just think about all the heroin that I stopped injecting, all the people I stopped hurting, the one less needle that's being found on your kid's playground because I stopped shooting up.
Yeah, man.
Like, it goes that far.
It's crazy. And again, like you were saying, like people, you get kind of mired in the cliche of it, but it is pretty nuts to think about that. Like if, that guy that day had been like, fuck him, I don't feel like doing
Straight
this.
up.
Like you were saying, your mom's upset, but you're burning bridges, you're ripping shit off, you're going to jail, all the shit. And it's like, it's pretty crazy when you think about the ripple effect.
And I believe that that's the approach that will change the outcome. I mean, it's put it this way. So in Delaware, where all my sober living houses are, my treatment center as well, we really wanted the community to see, because in there they said, well, we don't really want them in our neighborhood, right? I get it. So one of the stipulations with Novak's house is when it snows, you have to go out and you shovel your neighbor's porch and their driveway, and like you be kind to humanity and society. And then that was working, and it snowball affected into the guys and women living in Novak's house. They started getting jobs within the community.
That's cool.
And then the people who owned the businesses that started hiring the Novak's house clients, they saw something different in them. Same thing that happened to me. I'd show up to work early. I'd stay late. I took pride in washing dishes. They're like, where are you? What's, because they aren't, it's just different. And they're like, where are you from? What's the backstory? And like, oh, we live in this place called Novak's house. It's a sober house. And what the business owners within the community did on their own, I wish I could take credit for this, is they created a private Facebook page called Novak's House Hires. And if any of these businesses need employees, they put a post up that goes to the Novak's house only. And then if any of the Novak's house people need a job, they put their resume or what their qualifications are.
That's cool.
Because like they're seeing the good that they're creating through the ethics and behaviors. And like it's taking on a whole life of its own, right? So like it snowball effects, then it opens the window for people wanting to hire people in recovery, where before it was taboo, it was shied away from. You don't do that, they'll rob you, they'll lie to you, they'll steal from you. I'm here to prove that that's not the fucking reality.
Nice,
of
man.
all of, but like
For sure, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it can be done.
But the old saying is if you haven't been ripped off in AA, you're not helping enough newcomers. So it's like,
no, that makes sense. But that's fucking awesome, man.
yeah. And again, I'm not creative enough or intelligent enough to create that. It's just me stepping out and letting the process play out.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, I think that's it, man. Thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate
I enjoyed
that.
this.
I'm pumped to hear about that, and I enjoyed it too, man. I'm really happy to hear. It's good to hear people taking their time.